Let's get to it. Time to get in the air. We're taking off, L.A.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Travis and Sliwa has clearance right now.
Yeah. Cody is Slee. You're at your secret location today.
Yep.
Obviously, Slee has a mission that either took place last night or will take place later this afternoon. Not quite sure.
Don't worry about it.
No details there.
I'm not even going to bother. I'm not going to put you on the spot. Mm-hmm. But you picked the wrong day to get your assignment and go on a mission because Cody came in with a box of pastries this morning. That there were croissant, there were like a ham and cheese croissant. There were popovers. What else was in that box, Code? Because it was...
Love ham and cheese croissants.
Oh, my gosh. It was so good, Slee.
There was so much in there. I think
Slap that mic, Code. There you go.
It's good for the content. Slap the mic. We had ham and cheese. We had a plain croissant. We had a spinach and feta croissant.
Yes, Lee. You'd be on that.
Yeah, spinach and feta croissant. That's a good croissant right there. You know, I don't know if there's a theme going on here, but I'm just going to...
I thought you were here, Alan. That's why I brought it in today.
No, you didn't.
When he said that to you, Slee, he was winking at me. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, so there's a theme here because Greg has probably brought food into the station, I want to say, probably twice in his entire career that he's been there. One of those days was tamales on the one day that I was not there. And then I've basically been in the office every day over the last, let's call it 30 days or so.
Right.
And the one day that I'm not there, and this is a Thursday. This isn't even a Friday. Usually if things like this happen, I get it. It's a Friday. People excited. Weekend's coming. And Cody decides to do it on this day. That's fine, Cody. Let me just say this, Cody. If just out of nowhere one of your tires is flat on Monday morning.
Oh, I see how it is now.
Yeah. You want to go ham and cheese croissant and not invite me? That's fine, buddy.
I got an almond croissant for you waiting.
Those
Emily,
are good, by the way.
Em, I think roars to you. Good morning. You had a ham and cheese as well, yes?
Yeah, I'm a huge ham and cheese croissant fan.
I can see why. It was good.
It's great. If I'm going to get a croissant, it's typically a ham and cheese or a plain. Sometimes a chocolate if I'm being frisky. I love it. It was like the right size. Sometimes croissants can be too big.
Yes.
This was a medium-sized croissant, so it was the perfect amount. It had little sesame seeds and everything but the bagel stuff
everything
on top.
bagel seasoning on it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, that's good.
I get all the details.
It was good. Greg and I split one, Slee. Do you believe that to be true or false?
I do. I'll tell you why I believe it is because we were about to start our prep call, and I think you said you took a bite of one.
I did, and I realized
then you started expressing to him, well, hey, I can go get a knife and cut it off. And Greg almost took that as disrespect or something. He's like, no, I'll eat it. You know, you actually take a bite, I'll take a bite. Like, let's just
like Lady and the Tramp. We're gonna eat it together at the same time.
I was like, it's fine, Greg. He wants to cut it. That's not a terrible idea.
Yeah, how you feeling this morning, Al?
I'm feeling good, buddy.
Good.
Sometimes you need just a quick 10, 12 hours to get over a team that you typically root for to then just have a second to say, you know what,
you
let's
still
forget
feeling
about
it?
them.
Well, let me see.
Go from there.
It's been about 12 since it ended. It ended
About
at
12.
about 10.
Yeah.
You doing all right?
I
mean, that was pretty ugly. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, it's not even the ugly. I think before the game even started, I was already upset.
Well, you getting your feels for the Kings in particular. I don't know if it's residual Taylor issues or what it is.
You buy him a jersey because they always used to beat them.
Exactly. Or if it's just that the Kings were kind of the team that the Lakers were butting heads with when your Laker fandom really started to blossom. I don't know what it is, but you have particularly you get particularly sensitive towards all things Sacramento.
I think you have a good feel for a lot of things. It actually had nothing to do with the Kings.
Oh, okay.
It had nothing to do with Sacramento. It had more to do with, and I know we'll get into it, but AD, I spent the pregame show getting a migraine with Michael because I'm like, Michael, I think the way we want them to care about the game, I just don't think they care.
Well, okay. Let's start right here. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but can I offer an alternate they don't care theory? Sometimes you just don't have enough. And there's a sense of no matter how much we do, we're still way short. So why don't we save some of whatever it is we're saying, whether it's energy, resources, whatever it may be. Let's live to fight another day. Not that you don't care, but it's more of we can't. I mean, The Kings have been beating them like a drum over the last couple of years. Sabonis is owning Anthony Davis to the point of it being ridiculous, 10 in a row. I mean, it's really bizarre that Anthony Davis, who is a terrific NBA player, is 0-10 against anybody. That's just that I don't care who it is. That's just weird. And it could just be one of these, you know what? This is a bad matchup for us, and let's just get ready for the Warriors on Saturday, and we'll go out there and, I don't know, maybe we'll shoot 80% from the three-point line, and everything will line up. But I'm not going to fight like hell knowing that no matter how hard I fight, I'm still going to lose. Or did they just not care? You tell me.
Okay, no. Listen. And this is what I mean by the pregame stuff. There was a quote. Lakers had shoot around earlier in the day yesterday, obviously at Golden One Center, so in Sacramento. And to just kind of get things started, one of the quotes from Anthony Davis when you just mentioned he's 0-10 now after the loss yesterday against Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. It's an individual player. That's not all. Sabonis also timed somewhere else. It's not just with the Sacramento Kings, but the Kings have been kicking the Lakers' ass. There's no way of, obviously sugarcoating that. But he was asked about, hey, what do you think about your record against him? He says, I'm all about the team. The one-on-one thing, it doesn't bother me. So instantly for me, it's like, all right, well, if he doesn't care, then why the hell, if it's not a big deal for him to not just be losing to
is
one
he lying?
specific...
Is he trying to soften the blow? Is he trying to manage his own mental health? Because, look, I find it really hard to believe if one guy is just giving you the business that it doesn't bother you. Like I'll turn it into something else.
Well, that's even worse.
Right.
I would rather it be disingenuous than I would that he really doesn't care.
I hope it's disingenuous rather than he did. Because if, I don't know, pick the Dodgers' best pitcher. Let's say Clayton Kershaw at the peak of his powers. He's winning 20 games a year. He's winning the Cy Young. But there's a guy, I don't know, pick somebody, just another great player. Let's say it's Shohei Otani or whatever. Okay. And the Dodgers are winning a bunch of games and they're going to the playoffs. But Otani's batting 900 off you with 14 home runs. That bothers you.
Of course it does.
I mean, how could it not bother you? Well, we won. Yeah, but that guy's gotten 48 hits in a row off you. How does it not bother you?
Well, here's the difference with that scenario is you said, yeah, we won. Well,
they're
the
not
Lakers
winning.
Keep losing, right? So I think that kind of adds an element to it. And Michael's – listen, I get when you're talking to Michael, there is a very old-school approach to things that are just not in today's game. So even if he wants to see it go back to what it was in the 80s –
psychology is psychology.
But what I was going to say is that I was telling Michael, I was like, Michael, he doesn't have to go out there and say this is personal between him and Domantas Sabonis. But I think what he could have said was, but it's kind of personal against the Kings. We can't beat the Sacramento Kings. We struggle against the Sacramento Kings. That portion, at least you can get it off that bothers you. Instead, it's this, and maybe this is today's league. I don't know, and I'm not saying every personality is like this, but it's very nonchalant, no big deal. This Sacramento, they don't play the Lakers the way they play the Blazers. I don't feel like they play the Lakers the way they play the Houston Rockets. I feel like it means something to them, and for the Lakers, apparently that's not the case.
I'll ask this, and I don't want this to turn into an Anthony Davis thing because he's been really good for them this year, and they're going to go as far as he can take them. He's their best guy at this point, and he's had a really nice season. However,
he's getting outplayed by a few big men here in these last couple of weeks. He's getting outplayed.
No question about it. No question about it. You think Kobe Bryant took things personally? You think Michael Jordan took things personally? Do you think that take your pick of these guys? You think Tiger Woods somebody would say one thing that Tiger Woods didn't like, and he'd never speak to them for the rest of his life, right? That the great ones are almost like lunatic level, take everything personally. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird took everything personally. Now, it manifests differently, but those guys are keeping score. They're keeping track. They know what the other great guys are doing. And guys that are ruthlessly competitive to the point of almost preoccupation, like almost to an unhealthy level of I have to win have to be first in line. I have to have a suitcase that's packed better than yours. And like just weird stuff like that. I've heard guys talk about this, like, oh, I know how to get from Chicago to Atlanta faster than you do. You got to go through. It's like, well, who gives a damn, right? But this is what these guys that are on this level do. And when you hear, well, the one-on-one stuff doesn't bother me, it should. It doesn't necessarily have to be to that level, but it should bother you. It should be a thing that drives you. It should be a thing that makes you want to go figure out, why is this guy kicking my butt? And the answer is pretty darn obvious. I mean, there were a couple of plays last night that were like, ay, ay, ay. The one where Sabonis had it, I think he started about half court, dribbles to the middle of the lane, stops, kind of fakes left, spins back right, throws an elbow into AD's chest that knocks him flat to the ground. And he just drops in the bucket. He's just bullying him. I mean, he's getting physically bullied, getting knocked to the ground by a smaller player, quite frankly. And that's embarrassing. How do you not take that personally? How do you not want to get back up on your feet and do the same thing to him, or at least challenge him to a point of, you're not going to do that to me?
I'm going to add another piece to this. I think let's just take what he said before the game, that it doesn't bother him, but he came out yesterday and he came out last night and just let his game do the talking. It's a different story. That's a different topic. The problem is exactly how it was before the game is exactly how the game ended. It was Domantas Sabonis again pushing around Anthony Davis. How's a dude who is smaller than you, as in literally just height-wise? Like, I get it. If you said Joel Embiid pushed him around, I'm like, all right, the guy's got 40, 50 pounds on him. If you told me that Nikola Jokic, just because Jokic is he's wider, he's bigger, he's this, that I know that's not his game, but if you told me Jokic,
I get you
could see AD getting pushed around by Nikola Jokic, I'd be like, okay, I understand. Domantas Sabonis is not that size, he's not that height, and there is something that comes, I think, with Anthony Davis, and I think the Kings have showed this these last couple of games. Yusuf Nurkic did it a couple of weeks ago. Nikola Jokic has done it before. Giannis did it on Friday. Play bully ball with Anthony Davis, period. And
he doesn't like it.
This is actually, I think it's not just Anthony Davis. I think this is a Laker thing, too. You always give this comp that I absolutely love. You give this comp about when Mike Tyson fought Evander Holyfield. And Mike Tyson came out right out the gate. This is what Tyson used to do.
Ding, round one.
He throws all his best punches in the beginning. And you know what? 95% of the time, that works. But when you get somebody, and I think this is the Lakers, it's like, they're looking at the other side. If you throw your best punches and all of a sudden that team is just standing there saying, that's all you got, Lakers don't punch back. Or at least, let's just put it this way, they don't take punches, and I think that bully ball that you mentioned about Anthony Davis is similar to how the Lakers play as a team.
It certainly looked like it last night. And there was one other thing that just jumped out at me that we've seen it here and there, but last night it was like, uh-oh. It was very, very stark to me last night. We'll get into that. Plus, I want to hear what Laker fans think of that performance that night against that team. 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-3776. It's all coming up. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. Secure the seats and the memories this year from Vivid Seats, your home for every slam dunk, slap shot, and stolen base. Vivid Seats celebrates fandom with unbeatable rewards like free tickets, surprise seat upgrades, and annual birthday deals. With Vivid Seats rewards, you earn with every purchase. From buzzer beaters to walk-off homers, Vivid Seats has a great selection and great prices on all the games that matter to you. So just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
It's a ticket
All right, the NCAA tournament is almost here. Slee and I are in matching shirts.
Yep.
And you can come hang out with us at the Dine-In Pizza Hut on Magnolia Avenue in Anaheim on March 22nd. There is Dine-In Pizza Hut still out.
Listen, you eat pizza, you hang out with us.
Win.
College basketball going on. We're giving away a 75-inch 4K TV. Of course, we're going to be giving out specials the entire time. You know Pizza Hut's going to hook everybody up. What's better?
They have menu hacks that we can talk about. Come on out, hang out with us. Pizza Hut in Anaheim, Magnolia Avenue, March 22nd. Don't
Miss out.
that.
No. Live from LA Live on 710 ESPN.
So why Jimmy Buffett? I'll tell you why Jimmy Buffett. It is a Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN, so you're going to want to keep listening all day long for the cue to call. When you hear it, you will be caller number 7 at 877-710-ESPN, and you can win a pair of tickets to the Hollywood Bowl on April 11th for the Keep the Party Going, a tribute to Jimmy Buffett, featuring performances by, how about this, Paul McCartney, the Eagles, John Bon Jovi, Zach Brown, Jackson Brown, Brandy Carlisle, Kenny Chesney, Eric Church, Sheryl Crow, Jack Johnson, M's favorite Pitbull, the Coral Reefer Band, plus more special guests. Tickets available on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com, but you can win them before you can buy them on a Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN. How about that lineup?
Yeah, it's funny. I love the Jack Johnson next to Pitbull in the promo there.
Come on, Slee.
I love those two next to each other. They should do a collab.
Somebody should fact check me on this, but I'm fairly certain Jack Johnson is a gaucho.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Here we go again.
I think so. I just
look
Big
it up
West,
right
Cody,
now.
get on board.
University of California, Santa Barbara, Jack Johnson.
There you go.
I think UCSB lost yesterday in the Big West tournament for basketball. I think they lost to CSUN.
We have not had our best year.
That's not cool.
It's baseball season, Code. We've moved on to baseball.
Got to dominate all sports.
Those sweet Isla Vista jerseys that I'm still angling for as well. So, Emily, are you going to go check out Pitbull in a tribute to Jimmy Buffett?
I mean, yes, of course. Also, Pitbull might be a early preview for my snake draft pick.
Oh.
But, yeah, this seems – I mean, Sheryl Crow, Brady Carlisle, I love her. I mean, this is an amazing lineup for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's very cool.
Are we giving out our topic of our snake draft, or are we holding on to
Sure,
it?
yeah, we can give it out. So our topic is
different kind of snakes.
Yes, different snakes.
Chuck the
By
bike
the
down.
way, great
Not
idea.
awful. It's
Okay,
not awful.
keeping that down there.
Yeah,
Maybe
put
Taylor
that
Swift can
put
line-
that in
line
your
up
good
there.
idea folder. Em.
All right, but our snake draft is going to be geniuses because it is Albert Einstein's birthday. So whatever version of a genius sticks out to you, I will take it very wide. So genius.
Okay. Like it could be an invention that's the stupidest thing ever, but that we think it's genius.
There you go.
Something
yes,
as simple as that.
if
Okay.
you say this is genius, I will count it.
Yes, Lee.
Okay.
Whoever invented Scrub Daddy is considered a genius.
Not wrong there.
Didn't I have to explain Scrub Daddy to you guys at one point in time? I think
You did to me.
Yeah, because Scrub Daddy
Wait,
is
Scrub-
the
Scrub
best
Daddy-
invention.
But Scrub Daddy was on Shark
Shark
Tank,
Tank,
or no?
yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, okay.
It was one. It's I believe, unless something has overtaken it, it is the most profitable Shark Tank item.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's probably a
'Cause
pretty
it's-
high bar to clear.
Scrub Mama now, too, I think.
Yeah, Scrub Mama, which is Scrub Mommy, which is the one that
Love
has
Scrub Mommy.
It has the sponge on the back and the hard, tough exterior on the outside. So you
Okay.
have both, best of both worlds. I mostly have Scrub Mommies in my house. But yeah.
Do you discriminate against Scrub Daddy?
Well, Scrub Daddies have one purpose. Scrub Mommy is more diverse.
It's a multi-tool.
To be honest with you,
Exactly.
Scrub Daddy, kind of an idiot. Scrub Mommy, lot smarter.
So, Emily, you can't answer this because you already gave me the cold shoulder when I brought this up this morning. Okay, today's date, it's March 14th, right?
Happy Pi Day.
314. Pi, 3.14. I said to Emily this morning, I'm like, well, that's kind of cool that Albert Einstein was born on Pi Day. And she went, Am I wrong? She was unimpressed that the man that, at least for me, I'm most associated with, like mathematical genius, was born on Pi Day. I got nothing from her.
No, got to be honest. I know
Who
she's going
cares?
to give out. I know she's going to give out a certain kind of vibe to that.
Yeah.
I was a little bit impressed.
Thank you.
I was a little impressed.
I wasn't impressed that I noticed her. I'm just like, well, that has to mean something. Like the universe had to say, you know what we're going to do? Here's a little the greatest mathematical mind of a millennia. We're going to put him on this day where there's this number that kind of unlocks all of mathematics. We're going to give him that birthday. That's weird to me.
And I was born on 666, and then you guys think that I'm
No,
the devil?
Whoa.
Well, I mean, there you go. Numerology
Who knows?
could be a very powerful thing. Here's the thing last night, Slee. Other than Sabonis just manhandling AD for most of the night and LeBron turning it over way too many times and not having a hot hand and not using Austin Reeves enough on a night where he was going, and D'Angelo Russell having one of his worst games of the season and his worst game in a long time on the heels of an article where he basically said, forget the rest of you, I'm just going to let it rip.
Yep. That worked out well.
Put all of that aside. They look slow, brother. They look slow. And I understand that the Lakers are not a super up and down team. That's not stylistically how they go about it. I understand that Sacramento does play with pace. So the juxtaposition of that, I'm factoring that in. LeBron looked really, really slow last night. And maybe it's a bad night. They have him. But when you have a player that's in year 21 that's closing in on 40 years old and all of a sudden they look like they are having a hard time keeping up with the pace, that was one of those uh-oh moments. And it just, I don't know what it was, but last night that really jumped out at me.
No, listen, at halftime, Lakers were down 4. And I thought, Sacramento hit a couple of buckets and they got up 4. And it was like the game was pretty close in the first half. Third quarter, there was a really weird energy to the game. And I kept saying to myself, because you and I had brought it up yesterday, and it was listen, you pay attention to this. Teams that are on a second of a back-to-back, they're supposed to be slower.
Yeah.
Why did it look like the Lakers were on a second of a back-to-back last night and the Sacramento Kings had 2 days rest? Let me just – the reason why I think that's a big deal, you're not going to get any more rest than what the Lakers got between Sunday and Wednesday. You played a Minnesota Timberwolves team that, God bless him, I know Anthony Davis had, a great statistical night. They didn't have both of their big men. It's not like the Lakers had to exert this crazy energy to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves on Sunday. You had Monday off. You had Tuesday off. You stayed in the state of California, and all you had to do was travel to Sacramento. you bringing that up, I noticed that too. I specifically noticed in the third quarter, it's like.
Did you notice it specifically with LeBron too?
LeBron, I mean, there was a couple rebounds he went up for. I'm like, did this guy even get off the ground?
Yeah.
A ball that's kind of tipped off of him. He fumbled. A couple of turnovers that he made, just throws that were – and this isn't – I'm not trying to target LeBron. LeBron looked very slow yesterday. So, and I know that's going to happen. I know there's going to be nights that happens. Maybe it's the ankle. I know he said something about not feeling under the weather yesterday.
It could be all of it, but it was there.
It's still 2 days rest.
Right.
Like, that's what I go back to is that here's the Sacramento Kings team that beat the Milwaukee Bucks, had all their guys play around 30 minutes, a little bit more, a little bit less, and they looked fresher than the Lakers. How does that happen?
It happens because you have a relatively old team, and your best player or your second best player or whatever you want to call LeBron is in his 21st season. And you have to accommodate him. And rightfully so, he's LeBron James, but that was one of those.
No, I noticed it. You're right.
Hopefully on Saturday when they play the Warriors, it looks more like it usually does, and you're like, all right, it's a bad night. You can chalk it up to random occurrences, but now that you're looking for it and it was so obvious, you got to wonder if it's. Look, we're getting towards the end of the season. The season's almost over. There's only I think 15 games left at this point.
Wait. Yeah. I was like, is there something to it that Anthony Davis has played more games than he has since he came to the Lakers?
63, he's on pace to get up to that 72, 73, 74 range.
Could it be that he just doesn't have the legs for a whole season?
Maybe.
He might not be the slowest
for him, it wasn't so much with him that I noticed it. It was more with LeBron and then just collectively the Lakers. Like, he didn't jump off the court at me last night. He jumped off the court at me last night
because he was getting pushed around.
Right. You're getting your ass handed to you. That's what jumped out. Not that you look slow. It's that you're getting dominated by somebody who almost always dominates you, and it's happening again. Let's try a quick phone call here. Let's go to Costa Mesa and Steve. Steve, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Steve?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Yeah, I wanted to kind of talk about the game and what's kind of evolving with this team. Last year in the Western Conference, it felt like they ran out of gas. This year, that same feeling of just not having the energy or the stamina Anthony Davis and LeBron James, for the most part, have been healthy for 60 to 70 games, which is kind of wild, and they still have relatively the same record. The problem is you run these guys kind of into the ground, and you could specifically look at them move laterally. And when your two best guys are just kind of slugging in the mud, it makes it very difficult for that energy and that cohesion to kind of exist, especially when you're playing a team in Sacramento with the Kings that just go up and down. And I'm interested to see how the season plays out. And I'm hoping that they don't run out of gas earlier than they did last year.
Appreciate you calling in. It's funny, Trav, when I hear that of running out of gas. And you said this a ton. There is, and maybe, this is what you're referring to, Anthony Davis has been there almost every night. LeBron, for the most part.
Yeah.
Listen, if LeBron misses 10 games on the season, that means he played 72 games in his 21st season. I think he's getting close to that. But even in the high 60s, whatever the case is. Reeves hasn't missed a game all year. D'Angelo Russell has been basically, for the most part, a part of every single game. They've had to play catch-up all year long. Basically, every game this season, it seems like for the last month, it's like, well, you got to win this one. Well, you got to win that one. You got a tough matchup against this team. You got a tough matchup against that team. They're almost doing the same thing. The difference is last year it felt like they only had to do it from the All-Star break moving forward.
Yeah.
And now it's like, no, they've been doing this basically since game 40 of the season.
And one thing that I would push back on with the caller, too, is they didn't run out of gas in the playoffs last year. They ran into the best team in the league who kicked their butt. Now, the games were close, but that was not hey, we were on fumes and we had nothing left. That was Denver could have played them 100 times and they would have won 96 of them. That's what that. And by the way, that wasn't just a Laker problem. That was a NBA problem. That everybody other than the Nuggets would have struggled with that along the way. So they're right back where we had them about a week and a half ago before they got, quote, hot along the way. So are all the old questions back, and the big one in particular? That's next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right, Parker.
What's up, Greg?
Spring training. All right, Parker.
Jeez. Little Otani and Dodger blue.
Yeah, why are you looking at the camera?
I don't know. Let's start over.
All right, Parker. Dodger spring training.
That's right, Greg. Otani and Dodger blue.
Yeah, Yamamoto's here. Pretty excited about that one.
Tons of new faces. I mean, Kike's back.
Yes, it's great. Maybe we should talk about it on the ESPN LA YouTube channel.
I like that idea. What do you say, 9:30, 9:55?
Right, leading right into Travis and Sliwa. Get a couple guests.
Maybe Marcus Grant, Travis Rogers, perhaps?
Yep, just have a bunch of people come in. Maybe Clinton Yates will even find his way in.
Oh, you know, you always want to have the handsome man president right there.
Absolutely. All right, well, I think we should do that. We'll do it every day, Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 9:55 on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. Thanks to LAX.
My grandpa some tickets to this thing because he is the biggest Brandi Carlile fan that I think I've ever met in my entire life.
Oh, really?
And she's performing the Jimmy Buffett tribute show at the Hollywood Bowl that we're giving away tickets today, all day, for Ticket Thursday. My grandpa went, and he's in his 80s. I'm sorry, Papa, I don't know your actual age, but he traveled to see her and had this whole shirt that says Brandi Carlile's oldest fan, and it was very sweet.
Way.
So he's a huge fan. So
did he get a call out while he was at the show?
I don't think so.
Okay.
He was in like the section for like people in wheelchairs, and so it is a little far away from the screen. But no, he loves Brandi Carlile.
Well, if no call out, I'm not listening to her anymore.
Yeah, come on, Brandi. Call out my papa.
The hell is that?
That's great. That is great. So we got a Ticket Thursday plus our first signature event of the year. It is right around the corner. It is a week from Saturday. You're going to want to join us for 710's Pickleball Madness Tournament. That is on March 23rd at the Agape Pickleball Center, Mile Square Park in Fountain Valley. We start at 10 o'clock in the morning. We're going all the way till 4. There's food, there's drinks, there's games, there's a fun zone, there is basketball on TV. Of course, the tournament's going on. Plus, you can sign the biggest birthday card in in the world. Of course, it is Mace's birthday. And we're going to be celebrating Mason and Ireland's 20th anniversary on ESPN LA. So you can RSVP for your seat right now. Go to ESPNLA.com and click the Pickleball Madness logo. And Slee, that's the day after you and I are at Pizza Hut.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, we got next week, basically, you have 37 opportunities to see Travis and I. We're going to be everywhere next week. We'll be everywhere next week.
If you don't come, you hate us.
That's right.
And specifically to pickleball, literally, it's one of the more chill events that we do all season or all year. And there's kind of a not bleacher section. There's seats out there that you could sit down and hang out. Come hang out. We had a great time last year. We'll have a good time this year as well.
You know, and all the people I'm feeling I'm getting to know on Twitter, right? The Aaron Palmers, Big E's. I met Big E a few times. Met Aaron, I believe, too.
Raider Rubin,
who's come to a bunch of our events. Like, the regulars,
Ray.
the Circle of the Trust, Crypto Ray.
But if you've been someone who's been asking
Casper
us a lot
Villa.
of Ask Slee questions, but you haven't been to a remote yet, if you haven't been to the Mandy's yet, this is a great place. It's going to be Travis and Sliwa and kind of like
Capitano Matt.
a smaller setting. And,
Chrissy.
it's fun to put a face to the name that we see all the time, and we'd love to have you.
Absolutely. That's coming up next Friday on the 22nd during our show, 10 to 1 at the Pizza Hut in Anaheim. It is 301 South Magnolia Avenue. There's happy hour specials. There are games on TV. Slee and I will be eating pizza. You can eat some pizza. There's a meal deal for $9. It's a great deal. So there's a lot of stuff to get to in the next couple of weeks. All that stuff coming up next week as well. I'm not going to lie, Slee.
Okay.
I'm stuck a little bit on what that last caller said. 877-710 ESPN. This idea that the Lakers ran out of gas last year. Not so much. I'm willing to entertain the prospect of, look, this happens in baseball, this happens in football, and I'm sure it happens in baseball or basketball as well, that you just hit a point in the season where you just don't have it, right? That you go to the well and it's just not there. It comes back, right? That you'll get the juice for the postseason, you'll get the juice for the last part of the regular season, but there are, in baseball, it's called the dog days of August, where it's like we still got to play another 45 games. We're not even, and we've already played 120. Like, this is crazy, and the energy level just kind of starts to fade, especially if you're a team that is either comfortably in or out of the postseason. The Lakers are not comfortably in, but they're also going to make the play. In worst-case scenario, they're going to get at least a chance to work their way in there. Do you think it's fatigue? Do you think it's doldrums? Do you think it's this? Or is it just this is who the Lakers are? They're going to put together some good games, and then they're going to put together some games like that last night where it's just like, that team's going nowhere.
I think, listen, coming into the year, whatever we thought of the Lakers, I think as the season's progressed, it's clear that Lakers need a lot of things to go their way. They need a lot of things to win a basketball game. They're going to have to shoot well, or they're going to have, one of these players are going to have to go off. I think the fact, I'm going to use the Lakers bench as a quick example. They don't have a bench. Like, they literally have no one they could depend on when it comes to the bench. And when I say they needed the season to go perfect, Gabe Vincent basically needed to be around all year. Jared Vanderbilt needed to be around all year. Cam Reddish needed to be around all year. And I know those names are going to sound, come on now.
You saw the look on my face, didn't you?
But that's okay, and I don't mind that. I think the let's
because can I flip it on its head for a sec, Al?
Sure.
Because I hear what you're saying, and yeah, you need depth and you need support from your role guys. That's all true, but. When we thought, Gabe Vincent hasn't played all year, basically. Jared Vanderbilt's missed a ton of time, and he has. That is true. But you know what else is true? LeBron James has played most of the season and played very well. And Anthony Davis has played all of the season and played extremely well. Austin Reeves, who they signed to be their third best player and was expected to contribute at a relatively high level, has. D'Angelo Russell, last night aside, has kind of found a groove as a reliable offensive player, and he's either their third or the fourth best guy and played like it. If a team that has high expectations, like the Lakers did coming into the season, had their best, second best, third best, and fourth best guys all play to or above where they're supposed to, you shouldn't be fighting to stay out of 10th place.
The question was asked if I felt like they ran out of gas or they're running out of gas. And what I'm trying to say is I think we have realized when you were about 25, 30 games in, you had a good idea of what this team is. You had a good idea of, okay, are they upper echelon the Western Conference, or are they towards the bottom? I'm talking about towards the bottom of the playoffs or play-in or something along those lines. We knew they were playoffs or play-in. But let's go through those players that you just talked about right now. Add Rui Hachimura to that list as well, okay? The Lakers throw out their 5 best players to start out the game. When I tell you they're getting nothing after that, they're literally getting nothing after that. There's nobody that you can look at towards the bench. And I think the Lakers still are what they are. If they had Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, okay, maybe they're 8th in the West. Maybe they're 7th in the West. I don't know what the difference would be. But I'll tell you that over the last maybe 30 days or so, they have went from a team that was supposed to be, their identity was supposed to be their defense.
They punted on that.
To literally, they're one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. I think over there, Trudell always puts out some stats before a game, and over the last 10 games, they're ranked 28th in defensive rating. That's not going to get any better. Like, they basically, during the season, imagine an NFL team that you start off the year and you say to yourself, guys, we're all about our defense. And then
that's alarming. That's really alarming.
You're about 6, 7 games in or 8 games in, and you say, guys, we're no longer about our defense. We're going to be chucking the ball 30 yards down the field. They literally changed everything. So I'm not no means am I making an excuse for the Lakers, but if they were going to have a perfect season, they needed everything to go right, and that hasn't happened.
But perfect is it can't be the enemy of pretty good, right? Perfect, sure. Everybody needs to be healthy all season long and play at a 10 out of 10 level. That's perfect. Nobody gets that. What you need is your best guys to be your best guys a lot of the time. They have gotten that. And it's so why did they change plans? Why did they go from a team that was say, hey, we're going to be defensive minded? You and I at Media Day to start the season, we're going to be tough on the defensive end. Darvin said that to you and I together, and this was the identity of the team last year. And in the middle of it, you're just going to pull the ripcord and say, okay, we're not doing that anymore. That either means you had a bad plan from the jump or no plan at all. And now you don't know where to zag to, right? That I was going to go left, and now left's not an option. I don't even know where to turn right now. It's a reflection on them not knowing what to do once these I don't want to say minor necessarily, but typical inconveniences happen. Right? Guys miss time. Guys underperform. Guys get hurt. Guys, the guy that you need is unavailable for an extended period of time. As long as it's not your best guys, and it hasn't been your best guys, you should be able to weather it, and they haven't.
Can I simplify it? They're not good enough. They're just not good enough. So the 4 players that we just mentioned
aren't 4 of the right guys.
They're not going to carry the Lakers the way we thought they might carry the Lakers.
That brings up a whole bunch of interesting questions.
But Trav, isn't it? I mean,
it could be.
You played 68 games or 69 games.
If that's the answer, and we'll put a pin in this, we'll come back and talk about this maybe at 11 o'clock, then what the hell are we talking about running it back again? If your 2 best guys, we're saying we're not good enough, then why are we? I mean, we're just going to shuffle players 5 through 12 again?
We said our 4 or 5 best guys.
Okay,
that's what we said. Our 4 or 5 best guys, and I don't think there is a scenario.
Shuffle everything from 3 down. Is that what we're talking about?
What I was going to say is I don't think there's a scenario if this just kind of goes as it has. I mean, we can get at this a little bit later. If the playoffs started today, they got to go through Steph Curry, KD, Devin Booker, or Luka just to get to Denver and play Denver in the first round. So with all that being said, I don't think it's possible for them to say, hey, let's run it back. I don't think that would happen.
We got your phone calls coming up on that. Plus, hey, did you see, bruh? That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
It's a Travis and Sliwa, and it's time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I saw it. I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see? Oh, hey, did you happen to see? It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this? Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
Your phone call's coming up in just a little bit, so if you're on hold, stay there. But hey, did you see that Al and I are going to be at Pizza Hut a week from tomorrow? That's March 22nd. We're doing our show live amongst the people, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., Pizza Hut in Anaheim. That's 301 South Magnolia Avenue, so make sure that you get out there and spend the day watching a little basketball, eating a little pizza, maybe have a beer with us. We're going to have a great day. Pizza Hut in Anaheim, 301 South Magnolia, a week from tomorrow, March 22nd, for the tournament. What's up, bruh?
What's up, bruh? So I don't have a hey did you, or I do have a couple hey did you sees, but we're gonna start with a hey did you hear, and it's gonna be from yesterday's broadcast, the Lakers broadcast.
Brought freaking croissants when I was
Oh,
gone.
sorry, Al. So we're gonna start this again, Al.
They were good.
I want you guys to have beef.
By the way, I just when I went to grab some coffee during the break, Berg is getting a second one. So the half that he split with me was not enough. And by the way, he was not taking a second half. He was taking a full. So he's at 1.5.
Did he say, hey, grab a bite, and then he wanted to make sure you took a bite first? And
He
then
offered.
He went in after?
He goes, you want to split this one too? I'm like, nope. I'm looking over the cliff at a very bad day if I eat that.
Hey, here we go.
That's what a hamburger's all about.
When the Kings played in the old building, Michael, the one that was way out there off the freeway, there was an In-N-Out right next to the freeway. Remember that?
Boy, they got good business after games, huh? That probably was very sad when this arena moved downtown. There'd be a mile-long lane for cars going through the drive-thru after those games. I always wondered, didn't people eat at the game and they stop in In-N-Out after the game too?
Well, you can never get too much In-N-Out.
Yeah, but if you pigged out at the game, how could you be hungry driving home?
Some people just like to eat.
Yeah, like Travis Rogers.
So the reason why I brought this up is because do we need to start a justice for Travis here at the station? Travis, you've lost Alan mentioned it yesterday. You've lost.
Wait. Before you say anything, if you know Travis, this is like the ultimate compliment.
Yes.
Okay. That Michael Thompson during the Laker game is talking about food and specifically In-N-Out.
Exactly right.
And Travis's name gets brought up in the mix of it. Cody, there's nothing to protect here. This is one of the best mornings for Travis right now.
I feel like I have arrived. Like, guys, we need to talk about what happened. I did not hear that last night on the broadcast. If you would have told Travis, and I'm not even going to say like kid Travis, young adult, at any point, hey, you know what? There's going to be an NBA game involving the Los Angeles Lakers where two-time NBA champion Michael Thompson is going to be doing a commercial for In-N-Out Burger, and the first person that comes to mind when he's doing that is you. I would be done. Like, I got nothing left to do. You know, like if you're an actor, you want an Oscar. If you're a musician, you want a Grammy, right? A TV person, you want an Emmy or whatever it is. I'm done, guys. I got nothing left that I got to get done. That is extraordinary. Thank you, Michael.
That was the nice side of me. Now let me also go to the other side. He did say, well, if you just pigged out at the game, are you still going to be hungry? And John's like, some people are just, they're still hungry. The fact that he also went to somebody pigged out at the game, they ate how many calories, and then decided to go eat afterwards.
Okay.
Also,
so let's put our cards on the table. It's time to tell the truth. I've gone to games and eaten my fair share. A couple of dogs, maybe some nachos, peanuts or whatever it may be. I more often than not, I'm going to eat at the game. That's fine. Very, very, very rarely am I not having anything. In fact, I think I've only done it once in my whole life, and it happened last year at a Dodger game.
Because you went and had Kraft,
we went to Kraft, Smoke and Fire, and I ate a pastrami brisket sandwich the size of a car battery, so I was good.
And you had the second half sitting in your car. Look, I listen every once in a while.
Which I ate on the way home, exactly right. But here's the other thing you do at a game. At least I do. You have a few. What happens if you have a few? Your level of fullness drops significantly. So you could have a couple of dogs. If you chase it with a couple of Modelo's, by the time you're on your way home and you're pulling off the freeway and that In-N-Out sign is lit up, you're like, yeah, I could do that. And so you hit it again. It's not a choice out of I haven't eaten all day. It's that sounds really good and it's right there and I'm not in my best decision-making capacity.
I think this is fantastic promo for our show because
It
our
is.
show is the food show. And so, listeners to the Lakers pregame, game, and postgame are unique listeners. They might not be the 9-hour sports block listeners, but if they know they're going to have one place to go for some food talk, that's some great pub because
yeah,
we
but
get those
I'm like the weak link on the team. You know what I mean? Like if there's
well, you
if there's
eat,
no,
but you're not. You look here. Here's the difference. You're the only one here that's probably not preoccupied to the point of unhealthiness by food. that Emily and I think deeply about these things. We plan this stuff out. Cody, you came in with a box of pastries today, so I'm starting to think you come over to this side of the thing too. Jorge can go on and on and on about all the things that he eats and makes, and his mom makes, and his dad makes, and all of these things that we're into it at a level, Al, that is probably way beyond normal. You're just a normal guy who likes to have meals.
No, you guys are. It's like what this team is known for is offense, but they have one defensive player. I'm like the one guy that he's all right on defense.
You're picking up
He's
at
okay
half
on
court.
defense.
Yeah. And when it comes to launching 3-point cheeseburgers, you're just going to sit it out. You're going to set them up. You're going to set a pick and go from there. That's great. Make sure that never goes away. I need that for the red. That's going right next to Travis and Wright. And does Travis go deep? Travis goes deep.
Or the Keyshawn, you ain't no Travis Rogers.
That's right. You mean this one?
Does Travis go deep? Travis goes deep!
Keyshawn's not on my page anymore. We need to fix that.
Okay.
Yeah. We need to look anything that has my.
No Travis Rogers either.
That
was with Travis in L.A.
See? Having a good day today. Shohei, he's married to a normal Japanese woman, and now we know her name. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Hit the
Rogers, Alan Sliwa, Travis and Sliwa.
But do you think it's the right move? Do you think it's the right strategy?
No. Live from LA Live on 710 ESPN.
He'll be there at the Jimmy Buffett concert. Make sure that you're listening all day long for a tribute to Jimmy Buffett at the Holiday Bowl. When you hear the cue to call, you got a chance to win some tickets to hear John Bon Jovi amongst a lot of other artists as well. They're going to be paying tribute to the late Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's going to be singing some sort of Jimmy Buffett song, so it's fun to think about maybe what sort of medley they're going to do, what song they're going to do, because I know that they're doing not these same people, but they did a tribute album to the Talking Heads.
Okay.
That's coming out this year through A24 with different bands doing
Playing
covers.
Talking Head songs?
Yeah, so Miley Cyrus is doing Psycho Killer.
Oh.
And she did a preview of it at the Chateau Marmont over the weekend.
Oh, I'd like to hear that.
Very different. So she's not, you almost don't recognize that it's the song until you hear the, ha 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 ha, that thing.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
How did that go again?
Run away. Covers, yes or no?
Depends on who covers them. I think that Miley Cyrus is one of the best covers of all time, and Kelly Clarkson. If those two people are doing a cover of something, immediately yes.
Gosh. Generally speaking, you're not a fan, though?
I think I like it to be a total re-envisioning of whatever that song was.
I'm for it. By the way, Kelly Clarkson, there's a meme going around that if she covers your song, you're screwed.
Yeah, run and hide.
Cover it so much
too good.
She's gonna do it so much better than you did it.
No matter who it is. She's done a Billie Eilish song and she just bodies it. She's done Whitney Houston, bodies it.
To be able to body Whitney Houston though, that's saying something because Whitney was huge. Her voice was just massive, and I know Kelly Clarkson's is too. But if she bodied, I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody.
She did a Bowling for Soup
Tony
song.
Basil.
So she did the Bowling for Soup song
such a good cover.
1985.
I know that song, yeah.
So she did a cover of that. Sounds amazing.
I'm going to need you to send me that because I'd like to hear it. Slee, you like covers?
Give me the original. Yeah. Give me the original artist. Not to say that there aren't good covers, but I'd always rather have the original. This actually happens a lot in hip-hop where they're taking old beats, and I don't realize until later – oh, wait a minute, that classic beat, I thought that was this, hip-hop artist song, but it's actually a song from the 60s or 70s. Kind of almost takes a little bit away from it because I want it to be the original.
Yeah.
And it's not always away.
I love them. There's a channel, and Emily, forgive me, I don't even know what platform I'm doing this on, but it's called, you can get the DNA of an artist, and I listen to this, Foo Fighters DNA, and it's songs that kind of sound similar to what Foo Fighters does, but there's also a lot of Foo Fighters covers in there. Glenn Campbell covers Everlong. It's amazing. It's really, really good. So anyway, I'm team cover, so hopefully they'll cover a little Jimmy Buffett. You want me to listen for your chance to do that. Plus, another reminder, Al and I are going to be in Anaheim for Madness Friday. That's a week from tomorrow, March 22nd, 10 to 1 at the Pizza Hut in Anaheim. The address is 301 South Magnolia Avenue in Anaheim. So come on out for a chance to win a 75-inch TV from our friends at Mirror Audio and Television. Nothing but TVs to watch the games at this Pizza Hut, plus happy hour specials starting at 10 a.m., $1 off of pints, $2 off of pitchers, half-price apps, and Al, a $9 express lunch deal, and more. Week from tomorrow at the Pizza Hut in Anaheim. We are live on the road.
Also have, by the way, something to keep in mind here. We'll be, Travis and I, we have experience. We've done this before. We've made pizza. So, you order Pizza Hut, and we'll get in the back there and do what we need to do.
Hopefully they have more qualified people. Look, our pizzas tasted really good, but our pizzas looked like they were made by radio hosts.
Granted, they were walking us through, holding our hands. Right when I put the sauce on the dough, they're like, yeah, that was awesome. Can you step aside for a quick second? I'm like, sure.
Let me repair the damage that you've done. Em, you have some breaking news?
Yeah, so breaking news, there's Joey Bosa is restructuring his contract to remain with the Los Angeles Chargers. Bosa and Khalil Mack will both agree to restructure and stay in L.A. with the Chargers, as well as the Bears have announced on terms for former Rams center Coleman Shelton on a 1-year contract.
Okay. Coleman Shelton's days were extremely, extremely limited with the Rams when they went out and signed I'm blanking on his name, the guard from the Lions, Jonah Jackson. Yeah, Jonah Jackson. They went out and signed him, moved Avila to center. That was like, okay, the opportunity to start for you is not here anymore. So the Rams obviously made that decision. The Chargers, are kind of interesting. You know, Max staying, Bosa staying, and obviously two very big-name guys, but some other guys, Eckler, right, down the road, Mike Williams down the road. I don't know if we're just giving the Chargers the benefit of the doubt because we have faith in Jim Harbaugh's ability to put together a winning football team, or whether these actually are as good a moves as it feels like.
That's all we're doing. Literally, that's all we're doing. And I genuinely believe that. I think the only reason why right now the Chargers can do anything, and for me it's they must know what they're doing because they brought in somebody who knows what they're doing. And so I don't even have any, I hold no reservation on that. If you are a coach or a general manager that has done things somewhere else and it feels like you know what you're doing, then I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Now, this could be – I don't know if it's the best comp, but I think it's a pretty good comp. The Clippers eventually changed ownership, and we give Ballmer a lot of credit. Yep. However, there's still this, but it's the Clippers. Why is that still there is because – Ballmer's been there for X amount of years. You've had some other stars that have come in. You've had Doc Rivers as your head coach. You've had Ty Lue, who's another champion head coach. We could be sitting here in a month and a half, and we could be talking about the Clippers are out again. So, but I think when they initially made the move, and when they've had championship type of coaches, you gave them the benefit of the doubt until you lost that, and I think that's where the Chargers are. They're in that honeymoon stage of a new coach.
I 100% agree. I think the one thing, especially for Chargers fans, is I feel like they're rebuilding an identity, right? Like they Harbaugh and Joe Horitz, who's the GM, you can tell like they're building a Ravens like junior or Ravens light here in LA, especially with all the signings that they have.
My brother, give Spanos some time. He'll ruin it. Just wait.
He might. Look, he might. And this is where I think your experience with them, Slee, is probably the most useful, is because you've probably had a lot of other moments where a coach came in, you're like, you know what, this guy's on to something. This is going to work. Let him do his thing. And the Span-Eye kind of get in the way and torpedo the whole thing, right?
Well, I'll say this. I do feel like Harbaugh's different. I do. So that even if there were other players in the past, other coaches in the past, and listen, they had Marty Schottenheimer. I think it was 14-2,
and they fired him.
They went 4-2.
But that's what I mean. The Span-Eye got involved, and they had a guy that won 14 games in a season and said not good enough. And I get it. They lost in the first round. That's a bad look, but they did win 14. Maybe you give that a second season?
I think they're so desperate right now and desperate to just try to turn things around and change the narrative that is associated with them. Harbaugh basically sticks around for as long as he wants to stick around.
Well, okay, hold on a second. That's interesting. But I want to go back to the comp you made a second ago with the Clippers. Mm-hmm. The Clippers got Donald Sterling out, and they brought Ballmer in. And they became much more of a traditional NBA place where it functions much more typically like other NBA teams do. In fact, probably above and beyond where a lot of other NBA teams do as far as facilities and technology.
And he spends on his front office
spends
and all that.
Money like crazy. Yep. Went out and got two different championship-winning head coaches. Mm-hmm. Still the Clippers.
You're not
better.
Wrong.
They're better. And they're far less embarrassing than they used to be, but it does seem that there's still something in like, the Clippers are here. Yeah, what's going to happen next? Is it going to be bad luck with an injury? Is it going to be that somebody puts on weight? Like, what is the next Clipper thing that happens to these guys, even if the people involved are functioning?
Okay, so let's go and let's just see if this happens with the Chargers. But let me give you an example. First year that Kawhi Leonard, Paul George were put together, it's Lou Williams, Patrick Beverley, whoever else is on the team. They obviously had a pretty stacked team at that time. Jamal Crawford, is Crawford still on that team? I think so. Anyways, when they had that squad and Doc Rivers is your coach, the first year they had that team, what happened? They got to the playoffs. Yes, it's in the bubble. They're up 3-1 against Denver, and what did they do? They did something that the Clippers, it was Clipper-esque. They collapsed. So if you get to the playoffs in your first year and you're the Chargers and you're up 24-7 in the first half against the team, and you end up losing that game 30-27, what are people going to say?
The
Chargers.
Yeah.
So until you change that narrative, then, and the Clippers haven't changed that narrative, which is why they still have it.
They haven't, and that's why kind of trying to define what it means to Clipper is so challenging, because before it was just, you have this cartoonish buffoon of an owner who's a racist and a homophobe, and he's all of these terrible things, and as long as he's there, you got no chance. Okay, he's gone. Now what happens? Well, you get one of the richest men on earth to buy the team. He spares no expense. He seems to be deeply invested in the success of his team. He hires the right guys. He gets some of the best players in the league. He hires the right coaches. And they still have a complete catastrophe in leadership at the moment, where they're right on the precipice against the Nuggets, like you're talking about. They're getting ready to play the Lakers in the playoffs. They're getting ready to have a 3-1 lead. And Doc Rivers, who is highly respected, has Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, who are really good players, and the whole thing disintegrates, and everybody's kind of turning, no, it's his fault, and to the point where Doc leaves. Okay, fast forward, and they have another good team a couple of years later, and it looks like, okay, here we go again. Kawhi gets hurt at the worst possible time, and Paul George gets hot as a pistol at the best possible time. They get to the Western Conference Finals for the first time, still don't punch their ticket. Like, it's just a million different things, but it always happens to them. And it's not just that.
Might be happening right now.
That's what I'm saying. It could be happening. The Clipper thing isn't, it's Ballmer, or it's Sterling, or it's just there's something about the bad thing that could happen seems to always happen. Whether that's injury, bad luck, a bad call, a bad like the thing just kind of bubbles up at that moment.
They're in the midst of. Do you remember this? It's actually kind of funny. We were prepping. This was a couple weeks back. And you're like, hey, the Clippers are the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. We need to talk about that today.
Yeah.
But you had like an urgency,
because it wouldn't have been true the next day.
That was the last. We literally had like a 10-hour window that night. Some stuff had happened. Whatever, other teams started winning. Clippers, we know what happened in their last game. You had Kawhi. First off, you're up 20, and you lose the game by 18 at home. Okay? This is a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Kawhi with some back spasms. They have lost, I want to say, I'm looking at their schedule right here. They've easily lost more than they've won over their last 10 games. So since they got to that plateau, the highest, here they are. They're the number 1 team. John Island saying, guys, that's one of the 2 best teams I've seen in the NBA. All of a sudden things are kind of starting to go the other way. And listen, you're right. This is 2 different ownerships. These are different coaches. These are different players. It's not like it's the same, yet you still look at it as it's the same old Clippers until they get rid of that.
And the Chargers fall into the exact same boat. Like, as much as I believe, and I'm with you, I think Jim Harbaugh, with this quarterback, with the ability, the good players he has, and more than any of that, he was good at USD. He was good at Stanford. Sure. He was good at San Francisco. Sure. He was good at Michigan. Why would I not think he's going to be good with the Chargers? I've been good 9 times in a row. The 10th time's the time that he'll be bad. Really?
And all those places, they were in the toilet too.
Right.
They were not very high regarded places. He hasn't gone anywhere that's like been put on a pedestal besides maybe Michigan, but Michigan wasn't even that great.
Michigan
when he
was
got
way
there.
down when he got there.
Exactly. They had pedigree,
and it doesn't guarantee you. Listen, he could have a very. Was he successful in San Francisco?
Of course he was.
They didn't win a Super Bowl.
That can't be the only measure of success.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that, I think this is where I think it's a little bit different with the Clippers. The Clippers have had some successful seasons, but you also got to punch your ticket. You also got to get to the NBA Finals. You also got to be in they lost because the Celtics were just better. They need something like that, and they haven't had it.
All right, we're going to take some of your Laker phone calls coming up next. Plus, Shohei Otani's wife is a very normal woman. We now know. We have proof. That's next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. We also got proof that Prize Picks is awesome, Slee. We have the proof in the fact that you can win up to 25 times your money. You can pick between 2 and 6 players. It's as easy as picking more or less. And 3 million people have signed up for Prize Picks, including you and me, because it's fun, it's easy, it's quick, and you can win some big money.
All right, this is the best part about Prize Picks as well. It takes about 60 seconds to submit your entry. I do this really every night because I love the NBA, so I'm always looking at basketball games. Big game coming up tonight. It's Boston and Phoenix. Phoenix on the road. This one obviously has implications for the playoffs as well, just looking at seeding for where the Lakers are. Jaylen Brown, more than or less than 25.5 points. Make your guess, submit it. Kevin Durant, more than or less than 27.5 points. I'm going to actually go less on both of these. Make sure you take advantage of this. Download the app today. Use our code 710 for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code 710 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
It's a Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN. This is your cue to call.
All right, the madness starts on March the 21st, and we are going to be at the Islands in your neighborhood, Ireland.
This is my personal islands in Manhattan Beach, in Manhattan Village. My son, the great Jack Ireland, will be washing dishes and bussing tables, so he can't get you any free food, but if you need a clean dish, he'll be ready.
Excellent. Well, I will be ready for cheddar fries, dredged in that ranch dressing, my favorite thing at Islands. And all the shows are going to be there. Travis and Sliwa, me and Ireland, and Shadano and Cap on March the 21st.
Games start at 9 o'clock in the morning and run all day and all night. Join us at Islands.
It is a Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN. You hear that voice right there. That, of course, is Eric Church. Keep listening all day for the cue to call. And when you hear it, you're going to want to be caller number 7 at 877-710-ESPN. And you can win a pair of tickets to the Hollywood Bowl on April 11th for the Keep the Party Going, a tribute to Jimmy Buffett, featuring performances from Paul McCartney, the Eagles, John Bon Jovi, Zach Brown, Jackson Brown, Brandy Carlisle, Kenny Chesney, the aforementioned Eric Church, Sheryl Crow, Jack Johnson, M's Pitbull, the Coral Reefer Band, plus more special guests. Tickets are on sale tomorrow, starting at 10 o'clock at Ticketmaster.com, but you can win them before you can buy them on a Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN. For instance, Bob Castanon in Walnut was our last winner, and we have one more to give away today. So if you are as lucky as Bob, you will get to go see the show.
And we've all heard all the stories about Ticketmaster, how hard it is to get tickets because it's the waiting room, the waiting lines, they inflate the prices, all that stuff. This is a great way to listen to us. You can get in, you can wait in our line here and be ready to go whenever we have the solicit going, and it's almost as quick as Ticketmaster. There you go. So make sure you're listening all day long for your chance to win some tickets to that great show. Keep the Party Going, a tribute to Jimmy Buffett. Slee, if I said to you, what is your definition of a normal Japanese woman? What comes to mind for you?
Just a normal woman from Japan.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Sweet, pretty, kind of
sure.
Maybe a little shorter. Yeah.
Would a normal Japanese woman have a particularly unusual and highly interesting occupation?
Probably just a normal like an accountant. Something that does not
insurance
pop off the page.
adjuster.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? School teacher.
Yeah.
Right? How about basketball player? Okay? How about very tall basketball player? Because Shohei Otani's wife, according to reports, is a Japanese basketball player by the name of Mamiko Tanaka.
Okay.
And there is a highlight rip of her playing basketball. She's very good.
Slee, she's a better shooter than LeBron. She has that elbow out.
Is the elbow in? Not out. Is the elbow in?
It's tight. It's like Klay Thompson.
She is just married, and I have been married for 27 years, so take this for what it's worth. But if I said to you, I'm married to a normal American woman, and you found out my wife was Sabrina Ionescu, would that line up?
Of course.
Hey, Trav, who's your wife? Sabrina Ionescu. Wait, the basketball player? Yeah. That's
all I can think about here as I'm now just maybe this is my rabbit hole. I'm watching highlights. She's got good form. I just wish she'd use her legs a little bit more. I feel like everything's more coming from the upper body. But can you imagine the athlete that is going to be created between these two unbelievable athletes? Oh, my gosh.
It's pretty remarkable. And she's quite tall. She is tall by any standard, but by female standards, she's especially tall. She's
a baller.
She's listed on the internet at 5'11". I don't believe it because she's standing next to Otani, who's 6'5", and she's not 6 inches shorter than Otani. That's 6, and I know that she's wearing some shoes that maybe have a clunky heel.
A little platform New Balances.
Okay. 6 inches? I don't think so.
Maybe 2 inches.
Okay, maybe 2. So that brings now we're to 6'3" or 4. It just seems like Ms. Otani or Miss Tanaga, however she would prefer to be addressed, is taller than 5'11" and is not what I would typically envision as a normal Japanese woman. She's a basketball player that's over 6 feet tall.
Let's just put it this way. If her and I are playing pickup ball, she's taking me down the block. She's got
dream
a drop
shaking you
step.
for sure.
She's Sabonising me. I'm Anthony Davis. She's Sabonising me. She's pushing me around.
It's like saying that Serena Williams is wearing to a very normal husband. He was the founder of Reddit.
He's a billionaire.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a really good comp.
Yeah, normal is, I guess, subjective. Maybe to Otani, who is otherworldly,
I guess we're all mortals relative to the stratus that he's dealing with.
We're all normal.
Well, I think when he put out that Instagram post and he was describing, hey, I got married and I wanted to share the news here before the season started, whatever the case is, I think this is a good example. If he'd have just posted a picture of her with him and said, guys, I'd like you all to meet my wife.
Yeah.
Let's go.
She's a
Ready
basketball
for the
player.
season to start. You know, whatever
She's a basketball player. She's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm super proud of her. There has to have been something lost in translation. There has to have been. Because not by any definition is she, other than she's female from Japan, her occupation is highly unusual. Her height is highly unusual. It's just, my daughter is about 6 feet tall, okay? And every time we go to dinner, we go for a walk, it's like, oh, wow, look at that tall drink of water.
Basketball?
Does she play
volleyball?
basketball? It's like, it's just, yes, she's a tall, it's noticed. Okay, so I have a feeling that when you meet this woman for the first time, it's not, that is a normal Japanese woman. It's just very peculiar to me. Oh, and one other thing. Otani speaks English completely. Can we drop the ruse?
Definitely.
Because did you guys see that magician that did that trick on him?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
The magician is talking to him like I'm talking to y'all right now. And Otani's following the instructions perfectly. And he says, pick a card, any card. And he goes, I'll take the 7 of diamonds. I'm like, okay, the man speaks English. Can we just drop this, please? I understand why he chooses not to. And I would assume that in very specific circumstances, he would like to revert to his native language. I understand all of this. The man speaks English.
I would think that he's just trying to not be misunderstood. And I think that's why he does it with the media. But yeah, he speaks English.
Did you see that magic trick?
Yeah, I saw it. Was maybe a minute long, minute and a half long, something like that.
Okay, M says that she's got she's got something for us on this, so I'm gonna put. But if you are able to, go on your phone, folks, and Google Shohei Otani magic trick. And I don't believe in magic until I saw that. That's a new thing that's completely crazy. Speaking of Factor Cap, coming up next, it's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
wonderful video of Miley Cyrus doing Psycho Killer at the Chateau Marmont. And whether or not you like the cover or not, I know that Greg loves some Miley Cyrus.
I'm a big fan of Miley Cyrus since the Grammys.
Sure.
She's pretty amazing. And also, I love that song, so I'm sure it'll be fine.
You didn't like Hannah Montana?
I did not like Hannah Montana.
She was
That's
a
actually
child.
why I didn't like. She was a child, right? But that's also why I was never found her attractive, because my stepdaughter, loved Hannah Montana. So it's like, you got to stay in that realm.
Yeah.
Right.
Now she's this way, and
She's an adult.
I looked at her.
You're good.
I look at her very,
Yeah.
very differently.
Right. But yes, again, this is a Psycho Killer cover that's more country focused. So have that in your mind before you go and watch it. All right. So we were just talking about it with Shohei Otani having the magician, mentalist, whatever you call them, come and visit the Dodgers locker room. He does this trick where he has a pack of cards, and Shohei has to think of a suit and a number, and he says it was 7 of diamonds. And then the guy's like, okay, great. And so he pulls out the cards, and there's 4 cards that are face up. They are all the suits. So it was like a ace of spades, an ace of diamonds, an ace of all these things. And so then he's like, oh, so you said 7 of diamonds? And he pulls out that each of the back of these cards spell out, like on the back, the 7 of diamonds. And Shohei freaks out, is so excited. Okay, here's my statement, though. The quickest way to turn a grown man into a boy is to have a magician around. Travis, fact or cap?
It's cap. It's not bad, but the fastest way to get a grown man to get really is put him in the presence of a beautiful woman.
By far.
Yeah, and then we get real stupid real fast, right? And especially the first time. Like if you get to meet said woman a couple times, you kind of revert back to your normal self. But if you just dropped me into a room with, I don't know, let's say Jennifer Garner, I would lose the ability to speak for 30 seconds. That's just how this would go, and then I would recover quickly.
So it's cap, and for all the reasons that he just said. Miley Cyrus, for example, would be one. If you put me next to Margot Robbie, I wouldn't be able to speak. I don't think there would be any sense of anything for quite a little while. She could be asking me as many questions as she wants. I don't know if I can actually get the words out of my mouth.
Good morning.
Beautiful.
Al, what do you think?
I hate to just kind of make this a clean sweep, but I think it is bad. It really is. Like I think for men specifically, that is the case. I forget which host it was, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's a late night host. Very, very. Maybe Craig Ferguson. Is it?
Sure.
Do I have that right? I think
there was a late night host named Craig Ferguson. Yes.
Okay,
he's funny too.
He is funny.
I think, one of his things was he would always have really, really beautiful women on. And he was so incredibly smooth with them. And he was on a podcast or something like that. He's like, I literally, how are you so smooth with the women? And what is it? He goes, I literally treat the women as if I would treat every other person out there. I'd remind myself to treat them like every other person out there. But most men, you just don't do that. Like something's clear. It's different, whatever the case is. I fall along the same lines with Trav and Berg on this.
Cody?
I'm going to go cap.
Smack it.
Smack it.
It's good for the content.
He's learning quickly.
He is.
For the magician, I feel like I'm going to go cap for this one just because I feel like whenever I see a magician, I'm trying to figure out how he did it, right? I'm not saying magic is fake or anything. It's for all the magicians
it's
out there.
fake. I just don't know how they do it.
I
Well, you won't get invited to the Magic Castle.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank goodness.
No, you're wrong. I want to go so badly.
No, enjoy yourself.
No, I will. You should come with me. We'll get martinis.
Well, all right. Now you're
Say martini.
Yeah, I feel like I'm always trying to figure out how they actually did the trick.
Right.
I actually go online.
Did you see it, Greg?
Yeah, I saw it. Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're the worst. You go
I
and
am the worst.
spoil it for
I'm the
yourself. I don't
worst.
care.
I love that. I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
Like,
yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm gonna
very cool.
I'm actually gonna go online and find out how he did it because I want to know the answer.
All right. So the ACC tournament's going on right now. It's in Washington, D.C.
Go Duke.
North Carolina just beat up on Florida State. But up next is Wake Forest versus someone else. But anyway, Wake Forest was doing their warm-up. And their warm-up shirts, they always kind of have, every team has the same, saying. It'll be the same, Wake Forest and Pitt. So it's the same jersey, but it's just different for each school. And it usually says, family or all in or whatever. This year it says something energy. So Wake has a thing that says Wake energy. All right, but they missed a huge opportunity to say big Deke energy because they are the Demon Deacons. So they missed a chance to say big Deke energy. Berg, Fetter, Cap.
That is 100% fact. That's the exact thing they should have done. Why were you not on their marketing team for this? Because would be genius. They'd sell out like crazy. That'd be all over the place.
Al, what do you think?
That's amazing. Nice job, Emily.
Okay, quick question here: is someone losing their job with that, or is it?
Emily's
They're
getting
just not
a job.
getting the next
I was
job.
going to say Emily's getting a promotion. Yeah.
Well, no, Emily is, but I'm saying is somebody else with it. If they do that, are people saying why would they do this? Why do? Because that's the only question that I'm
They're
asking.
going viral, and they're getting viral for a good reason because everyone loves that joke.
Okay, for college too, I think it does kind of fit that world. So I'll go fact on this one. They
Travis?
missed it.
Fact. It's a huge missed opportunity, and you should copyright that right now before somebody else jumps on it. Do the Pat Riley three-peat thing because that's very, very funny. Fact.
Really not a bad idea. You should do that.
You
and
should
sell them to all the people in Wake Forest.
Well, in Winston-Salem?
It would immediately.
I'm telling you.
I'm sure they already have it.
Find out.
Never know.
Find out. Yeah.
Cody?
I just bought the URL.
I'm going to go fact on this one. Like everyone said, I feel like it's a meme that will last on forever.
All right, so there are some very famous mascots in the world. There's a lot of them from Philly, the Gritty, the Fanatic. Some great things from there. You have the Chuck the Condor here. There's mascots that are almost known outside of their own team. Like they'll go and do appearances. Like Gritty is everywhere. And so for the ACC tournament, the mascots for the ACC teams went around DC. They went to like the National Cathedral and got blessed by the Cardinal there. They were on the Metro there. They were going around doing some fun bits for social media. So my statement is, you love when mascots have side quests. Alan, Fat or Cap?
Cap, I don't really care, but Trav, every time we've brought up mascots, you always say, Al, the San Diego Chicken is one of the best mascots in the history of mascots.
The best.
And it was beyond just what a team was or what a city was. I don't really care. Like it's not a big deal to me, but fact on this, yes.
Travis?
When well executed, that can be incredibly entertaining, right? That when now if it's just some guy dancing in place, that's real stupid. But if you actually can put some thought behind it and create a little bit, like
honestly, the Gritty stuff, it works. It plays.
It does. The Philly Fanatic is really funny.
Yep.
The San Diego Chicken was the San Diego Chicken was like on television shows. Like it had nothing to do with sports. He was showing up as the chicken.
What about
TV
like the guy from Jacksonville? It's like Jackson DeVille, whatever, that like moves his belly every time.
Yeah. But you need somebody in there that's like a real performer, a real like I don't know, like a stage actor almost that can perform and do that. Because if it's just some guy in a foam costume, it doesn't work.
You know, this is just one example. But when I was last year, Lakers playing the Nuggets, this is the first time I've ever gone to Denver for a game.
Rocky
the mountain lion. Yeah. That guy is incredibly entertaining. And, oh, by the way, athletic. And, oh, by the way, shooting half-court shots on top of a ladder. Like, doing things that I'm like, what the hell's going on?
He also makes $600,000 a year.
Is that what he makes?
Yes.
Dinger for the Colorado Rockies rides in on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I love it. All right, Berg, what do you think?
Yeah, it's fact because they're mimes that are actually entertaining. They do...
I hate that you said that. That's too good.
I mean, they're just actually, they are a lot of fun. And, you know, Slee, apparently you just hate joy, and these things are joyous. These are things that we like seeing. I mean, even like they do it for the college mascots like you're talking about all the time. They used it for college football. They would just do all these different things. Like Joe and Josephine Bruin would go out and do a bunch of stuff.
Side quests.
Side quests. They're amazing. It's 100% fact.
All right, so we're all, based on my rabbit hole on Tuesday, we're all hip to the Kate Middleton conspiracy things that are happening.
Bring it on.
Let's
go.
I don't know the latest.
I
latest
don't
is
really understand it. So.
People.
Princess is missing.
Yeah.
Like, for a long time.
You expect me to work when a princess is missing?
Missing. Really?
Yeah.
Well,
has not been seen in public in several months.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a whole thing, and People magazine was saying that her top aides have not seen her. So obviously there could be serious things wrong, but we're going to be having a little fun with this now. So be whimsical with me here. So you want to see...
Don't whack it.
You want to see Kate Middleton resurface by doing an interview with Hot Ones. Travis Petricap.
It should be something like that. Sure, fact that
or the Masked Singer.
The most
the Masked Singer.
Gosh,
oh, that's genius.
Even like yes, something that's totally absurd, but yet we all kind of sort of know it. That I know what the Masked Singer is deeply bothers me, but I know what it is, right? And if another person that I really wish I didn't know who she is, but I do, and you kind of conflated those two things at the same time, amazing. I would absolutely be here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, by the way, someone sent me this the other day after you guys were talking about it before. It's from somebody named Ruby Naldret. Apparently, the picture that she took was from her Vogue cover.
Okay, so that's another conspiracy theory. We did talk about it in the rabbit hole. That is, it maybe I have less thing with that because it could just be the way that she smiles in a photo. Like she just might have because she's trained.
There's like 3 pictures here. Just swipe to
so
the right.
That one has kind of been disproven, so which is why I didn't want to keep going on that one. But it is very much very similar.
I mean, bro. You see it now, right, Trav? It's exact.
It also could just be the way that she smiles.
That's really close, but like
yeah,
her
we all
head
tend to
tilt
smile the same way, but to have the head at the exact same angle with
She's
the exact
media-trained.
amount of teeth.
Anyway.
Yeah. I don't know, that's.
I believe it.
I believe
did
it.
you answer?
I did. I think I said fact.
So Al.
Fact, and this to me actually, I think the Hot Ones is perfect. Like
She goes deep.
No, because Hot Ones is so random, and getting these people to answer, and Sean Evans, who's the host there, is going to ask like these questions, some of the tougher questions,
deeply researched
at the worst possible time of somebody on level 6 of whatever wing that they have. I think that's a perfect place to do it, and I think people also will give out kind of whatever answer possible because they're not even thinking. Their mind is like, I'm going to hallucinate.
They're in survival mode.
Exactly. They're in survival mode.
Cody, what do you think?
I'm going to go fact. I love Sean Evans. I love whenever he does the interviews, especially especially with Kate Middleton, with everything surrounding it. I just want him to ask, like, so, where have you been? Have you had surgery?
Gets to the thing that we all want to know about.
Yeah. That's great.
All right, so last one here. And Travis, I'm not going to come to you because I don't want you to answer this one because you don't want to reveal this. So tomorrow is the grand premiere of Irish Wish on Netflix, starring Lindsay Lohan in a rom-com that, it takes place in Ireland. Cute little trailer, but, as the two foremost Lindsay Lohan fan club lovers, as Travis and John Ireland, I sent you guys a fun video today, but Travis will have an Irish Wish showing at his house that none of us are invited to. Berg, Petricap.
The only person that's going to be invited to it is John Ireland. So it's true, and John's going to go. Fact?
Yeah.
Fact?
Fact.
Yeah.
Al?
Cap. I know Trav well enough. He might run into this. He's not dedicating time on his Friday for this. Now, it doesn't mean that he might not have some free time over the weekend, or maybe he just finds something gets him towards that when he's sitting on the couch doing nothing. I just don't think it's happening tomorrow.
John will be with you on that couch for sure.
Cody?
I'm going to go fact. You know how Travis has those famous Saturdays where he showcases like the USC Notre Dame game?
That's right.
This is going to be the showing this Saturday. Everyone's going to be invited.
There's going to be a taco guy.
Exactly. Fabio,
Smack it. It's good for content. There you go.
Fabio's going to be there on Saturday, and he's going to have all the tacos ready.
Yeah. All right. Big Deke energy happening right now. They're down 9-10, 5 minutes into their game.
I know you told me not to answer, but here's the actual answer of this. I like to watch my Lindsay privately.
In private, yeah. You're going to have a solo showing.
I'd like
Weird,
to,
but
just
not
like
surprising.
I'd like to take it in at my own time. And
Susan
my own
is there,
speed.
correct?
This might be something I'd like to see if she'd like it first. I want to dip my toe in the
pregame
water.
with NFL's most violent hits.
Finish off with some Fernando
Exactly.
doc.
You guys are starting to finally understand what makes me tick. This is very exciting. Shaq talking about LeBron, and I don't even know what he means. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
It's a Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN.
Make you banana pancakes, pretend like it's the weekend.
This is my man Jack Johnson, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go Gauchos.
And we'll be at the Jimmy Buffett tribute concert. So
I
he's
just
one
thought
of the
we
many
were
people.
Famous Gauchos. I thought we were going to do that and then go to Gwyneth Paltrow and Judge Wapner, and then we're good.
And Gabe Vincent.
Gabe Vincent. Of course, Gabe Vincent. Of course.
Travis Rogers.
I'm fairly down the list.
But no, this song's fantastic. I love Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson, I went through a run in college where the guy got a lot of play. And by the way, I was asking Emily before the show started, I'm like, dude, does anybody else listen to I don't listen. Like, he's not an artist at this stage that I'm going out of my way. I want to go hear Jack Johnson. But every time I hear him, that's not a skip, right? That's no, let this play. It's like a perfect song or perfect music to have in the background.
Well, it's Gaucho created. I mean, what else? What else do you need to know?
Just need something.
All
Ole.
Yeah, ole. This one, you mean? Ole, ole. I like when we hit it at the same time.
But I used to listen to Jack Johnson when I would babysit. It was like one of those, very calming thing for little kiddos, and there's no curse words, and it's always very sweet. When I think of Jack Johnson, I think of the Curious George movies.
Oh, that's funny.
He does all of the music for all those too.
What type of babysitter were you?
I babysat for everybody, and I babysat for any age group. But I was play with the kids, be very super fun and playful. And
I was just gonna ask, were you like the taskmaster, like you're in bed by 8 o'clock and you're gonna eat your vegetables, or you like, eat ice cream and watch movies all night? What do I care?
I do what the parents ask me. I will do whatever the parents' rules are. So if they have very specific rules, usually when I'm in my first meeting with the parents, I was like, hey, is there anything that's like a no-go for kids? Like if you don't I want to match their discipline level, whatever their parents do, because they don't want to be a bad babysitter, and typically try to have fun with the kids, but also whatever the parents are doing, I want to match it.
I want to do the bare minimum to get invited back to do it again.
I consider myself to be a good babysitter.
I'm sure you do. I know. That's why you probably got invited back, and I very rarely did. I want to play this for you. This is Shaq talking about LeBron James, because I'm trying to figure out exactly what he's getting at with these comments.
So I've heard players say, including myself, I feared Mike. I've heard players in your generation say they feared Kobe. I've never really heard any players say they fear LeBron.
And I got killed for that.
Why is that? You're not going to get killed here. I'm just
saying, when I first said that, people killed me for that.
I'm with you.
I didn't think players really feared LeBron like they did Jordan.
I never heard anybody say it.
And it's not that you shouldn't fear Bron. I just think at the end of the day, Bron has been through so much that he wanted to be liked. So it was kind of like,
he's a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna do things now where people like me, people respect. You're always gonna respect what he did, but you actually like Bron and want to be a fan of Bron now. So I think that's what that was.
What do you make of that, Al?
Well, I think a little bit more context helps. I think that context helps because initially when I just kind of read the quote, the first thing that went through my mind was, what is he talking about? Like, what's your definition of fearing another player? You're going to tell me that the Golden State Warriors didn't fear LeBron James and the potential of losing an NBA Finals because they had to go through him? You're going to tell me that Kevin Durant, who you could say is basically two franchises merging together to make one for those 3 years they won 2 NBA championships and clearly had such an advantage over LeBron James. Nobody feared LeBron James. You need to go back in the days when it was – I always remember this quote that came out there. And, Trav, this could just have a lot to do with people have got – LeBron's been on the front of the your TV and your radio and your podcast and everything else for 21 years, that there might just be literally – people are tired of hearing LeBron's name. But do you remember when he got to his first NBA Finals and it was Tim Duncan saying, hey, thank you for letting me get one? I get what he's saying about, or thank you for waiting before you get yours. I get what he's saying about LeBron might be a nice guy. Okay, LeBron is a nice guy, but LeBron also had LeBron was a killer as well. The guy made it to 10 NBA Finals. He's 4 MVPs. Like, I don't think you can do that and accomplish that unless you had a little bit of that in you. Maybe it wasn't exactly the way Jordan was. Maybe it wasn't exactly the way Kobe was. Maybe it wasn't exactly the way some of these other people, the way they went about their business. But I don't know. I almost feel like it's just a lot of people target LeBron these days, and maybe in 10 years they're going to target him less because he's not in front of your face every time.
I think that's half. Here's the other half. I don't think they were scared of him because you could beat him. And not because of anything he was doing wrong, but because he would lose frequently. And not every time, but there was this ruthlessness to Kobe. Like, I have to find a way to beat a guy that is a lunatic, that he will do whatever it is. That Jordan was like that. Tiger was like that. And their exterior was so hard to crack. Their personas were so vicious that there wasn't this, like LeBron shows up and doesn't win. Then he shows up a second time and doesn't win. And then he gets one. And then he gets another one. And then he loses another one. There wasn't this air of inevitability with LeBron. He might, and he's great, and you're going to have to beat him. But it wasn't this, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know how to beat him. And we'll use Jordan as the ultimate example of this. Jordan lost, but it was when he was at the peak of his powers, he didn't. Right? There was this thing of, I don't know how to do this. And when he went to go play baseball or whatever it was we better cash this in, because if he ever comes back, he's going to go start racking them up all again, which is exactly what happened. And there's just that it's personality based, which I think is what you're getting at, that and what Shaq and Mario Chalmers were getting at, is that LeBron is, generally speaking, a pretty affable guy. And I don't mean that he's not competitive. He clearly is. But there's a level of competitiveness and quite frankly, ruthlessness that went with Tiger Woods, that went with Kobe Bryant, that went with Michael Jordan, that wasn't just, hey, that guy's a great player. It's, man, I don't know what to do with this guy, and I don't know what he's going to do to me, that I don't know that exists with LeBron.
I don't know if I feel the same way. I mean, you can't be – LeBron sometimes gets knocked because he took really bad teams to the NBA Finals. LeBron sometimes gets knocked because you go look at his NBA Finals record, and you're like, well, look at him. He went 4-6 in the NBA Finals.
But that's why. That's why those guys are talking about it like that, I think.
Yeah, but think about that. I could take some of the players that you just mentioned and put them on LeBron's team that he took to the NBA Finals. He ain't taking them to the
but
finals.
You're talking about it from a basketball perspective, and I think that's part of it. I'm talking about it from a personality perspective. I'm talking about it from this guy is not an unpenetrable force. That you have to be damn good to beat him. Okay. But it's not this. Yeah, there's no. When Tiger Woods was at his best, he wouldn't look at guys. There's a funny moment where they're playing the U.S. Open at the one in New York, Bethpage, and Sergio Garcia's in the final group with him on the last day. They walk to the first tee, and Tiger's got the red shirt on and he's the black pants.
Sure.
He's Tiger Woodsing it up, and he's making eye contact with nobody. And Sergio Garcia is like fumbling for this pencil to hand to Tiger Woods so he can start his round. And Tiger's looking at him like, I've beat you before this thing has even started. You're a pathetic loser. And it was written all over his face. And Kobe had that, do you really think that you're going to beat me today? Look, not that he never lost, but it was this, you've got no chance against me. I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're out at the club. Like, I'm going to demolish you. And that creates fear. And LeBron's is just this unbelievable level of excellence that he has created, but it's not scary. It's just, I have to be better than perfect to beat him, but I'm not scared of that. I just have to perform. I'm kind of scared of Kobe. I'm kind of scared of Jordan, kind of scared of Tiger Woods.
It's kind of funny when you explain it that way, because I take it as almost like a sign of disrespect to LeBron. And I don't know if it's a sign of disrespect to LeBron, but that's how I viewed it, which is maybe why I was like, really, are we doing this? Are we finding another thing to critique Bron on? And I'm not even trying to be, hey, I'm going to protect LeBron for everything. But I see where you're coming from. That there's certain people that are saying, yeah, I beat my kid in ping pong and he's 6 years old. Well, I won't lose to anybody. It's like, okay, that's not that big of a deal. I get what you're saying from the competitiveness.
Our Thursday snake draft on Pi Day. About geniuses, because it's Einstein's birthday. See how cool that is? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Has not been seen in months. I am the first overall pick of the draft, the first time in months.
You haven't had the top pick in a while.
Yeah,
You're right.
so we're doing the snake draft now of geniuses in honor of Albert Einstein's birthday today on Pi Day, which just so happens to be 3.14. And so here's the order of the draft. It's going to be Emily, Travis, Alan, Cody. We each pick 3, 12 total. And that's all that we can fit in the graphic, right, Parker? Awesome. All right, and we're playing Boy Genius in the background because everyone doesn't think that they're a rock band. It's great. All right, so I'm going first. So my first pick, I think that I teased one of my picks earlier, but I don't know if I'm going to go number 1 overall for him because I got to talk about the very first genius I ever encountered. The very first genius I ever encountered was in 2001, and I was just a little 5-year-old. And I turn on Nickelodeon, and I see this kid
I love it.
with a brain blast and big hair, and it's Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, is my very first pick off the draft because he's an insane kid. He's a wonderful genius. He brain blasts. He has plutonium. He has neurons, whatever. He introduced me to a lot of science. So Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, is my very first pick of the draft. Travis?
At the risk of being terribly dull and uninteresting and obvious, I mean, the reason that we're doing this, the guy who is largely considered the genius, the guy that, invented things and solved unsolvable equations.
Jimmy Neutron.
Well, I have seen Jimmy Neutron, but I'll take Albert Einstein. I feel like that's a pretty good pick in a genius draft.
It's a good pick.
Thank you.
All right, Alan.
My number 1 pick, this is very easy, actually. I think we all kind of understand where we're going with this. Uncrustables were created at one point, which combined peanut butter and jelly together in a very warm, I'm talking about warm to the heart, not actual warm. They go, obviously, in the refrigerator. I don't know who it was Smucker's, I think, that came up with it first. I don't know who there created it, but that person needs to be mentioned
Mr.
with the
Smucker.
names like Albert Einstein and some of these other greats. So Uncrustables is my number 1 pick there.
So genius invention, Uncrustables, and whomever the geniuses that did them.
Yep.
All right, Cody, you have 2 picks here.
So with my first pick, I'm going to go with a crazy pick here, something that's unexpected. With my first pick, I'm going to go with Dennis Rodman, a secret genius. If you watch The Last Dance, there's that one scene where he talks about rebounding, and he talks about like when a certain player shoots, it'll spin this way, and if another player shoots, he's slapping his hands while he's doing it. He's like, if Michael Jordan shoots it, it's going to spin backwards, it's going to go that way. If Scottie shoots it, it's going to shoot it that way, and if Larry shoots it, it's going to go that way. So he's a secret genius in terms of rebounding.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to go with Dennis
and with
Rodman.
Pop culture and fashion and all that stuff.
I'm going to go with Dennis Rodman with my first pick, and then with my second pick, also another surprising pick, because I think this guy played coy as well. He's a secret genius. I'm going to go with Kevin Malone from The Office. So Kevin, even though he portrays a character that plays dumb, I think there's a few times where he lets out that he is a secret genius. That one time when they played,
like a fox.
There's that one time where they were playing trivia, and he actually ends up beating Oscar and his team through trivia night, and then he was also one of the first people that figured out Jim and Pam were a couple before everyone else did.
Why say more word when less word do trick?
Exactly.
I think that he's a secret genius. He also, says that has that cookie song. It's like springtime thinks that it's the best. Summertime has kind of a strut, but cookie season's that's the best.
He also beat Daryl and Andy in Dallas, I think. Was that
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
They created their own worlds.
And then he made that bar. Anyway, Kevin Malone, secret genius.
Not bad.
All right, Al, your second pick.
Guys, I got to be honest. I'm very surprised. First off, I'm surprised that I got Uncrustables at number 3. Very surprised that this pick has also not been taken. Of course, everybody knows Englishman Sir John Harrington, who created the first toilet. The first
Great
flush
idea.
toilet. It was the first flush toilet. It was the first modern flush toilet. That obviously is something that I think we would all hallucinate if we didn't have. I am shocked that I got this far down the line. Sir John Harrington.
You're a big inventor guy. You love an invention.
All inventions, guys.
All right, Trav, your pick.
That is a good invention, Slee, and I respect your pick deeply because it's changed human history. I'm with you on this. However, we could continue to live our lives without it. I don't know if we could do live our lives the way we live them without this guy, Mr. Willis Carrier. Mr. Willis Carrier invented air conditioning. Okay? And I dare you to be anywhere that's not the North Pole and not want to turn on the air conditioning at some point in your life, and it instantly makes your life 10,000% better. That on any summer day, you get in that car, and 3 minutes later, it's 60 degrees in the cabin of that car. That man is a genius. So Willis Carrier is my pick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is my air conditioning working great, or do I need to go use the restroom, okay?
Have you never been in the woods? Have you never gone into a porta toilet?
Not doing it.
We were able to do this because that evacuating ourselves existed prior to the toilet.
Sir John Harrington, thank you so much.
Number 2 in the streets,
Right.
and then we were uncivilized.
I understand, but then we took it to a whole nother level by being cool during the summer.
I thought you would have picked the person who invented ice, but you also still have one more pick.
I was going to say.
So there we go. All right, so I got 2 picks here. So I am going to go with, when I think of musical genius, when I think of the person that I think of the most when, how do they do this? Like, how do they revolutionize the way that we listen to music? I'm going to pick Pitbull. Because who else could make these lines like this?
Dolly.
This is for anybody going through tough times. Believe me, been there, done that. But every day above ground is a great day. Remember that. So that's a great line. So there's a line called, in L.A. they get crazy. In Miami they get crazy. In New York they get crazy. Atlanta they get crazy. In London they get crazy. In Paris they get crazy. In Rome they get crazy. I mean, who else could write these things? Pitbull is my number 2 choice for geniuses in my draft.
Just so we know, we have currently in our draft Pitbull, Albert Einstein, Uncrustables, and Dennis Rodman, just to name a few.
I mean, the top geniuses that are out there.
Sure.
And then the last one is more of a serious pick, and it's someone like with Carrier and with Harrington that our lives are not the same without this person doing things that they did, not only by what they invented, but by how they were a genius of marketing, how they were a genius of how to sell this thing, how to get everybody on board this, and how they separated themselves from everything else in the market and obliterated everything else in the market. Alan, close your ears. Steve Jobs. So I'm going to Steve Jobs is my last one because Apple, the iPhone, everything that Steve Jobs invented, not only because it's the technology of what he invented, but how he marketed it, how he created this design look. Steve Jobs, and again, there's thorny things with Steve Jobs, but every genius has thorny things. So Steve Jobs.
It's a good pick. And mine is Steve Jobs adjacent. And it has the word genius in it. The Genius Bar at the Apple Store. Because while Steve Jobs may have been the marketing genius and the design genius, it's actually the guys, look, we all have the little rectangle in our hands now, right? We all go, it's inseparable from us. We were always worried about them implanting the chip in our brain. Well, they didn't have to. They just handed it to us and said, carry this everywhere you go, and we did. Right? So what happens when it breaks? What happens when your laptop doesn't work? You go to the Genius Bar at the Apple Store, and some nerd that you would take 10,000 years to figure out what he does fixes it in 4 seconds. That's an amazing gift to humanity. This thing that is completely indecipherable to 99.999% of us, that kid, that woman, that guy, they can fix it in 4 seconds. So my genius pick number 3 is the Genius Bar.
All right, Al, your last pick.
Oh, I can't believe this fell to me. I mean, I was so nervous, and I was so strategic with this whole thing. And I thought to myself, this is probably a first rounder going in the 3rd round. This is a steal.
Okay.
Guys, I'm going to take this back to my college days. At one point, the Foreman grill was the greatest invention that had ever been created.
Is that not George Foreman?
It is George Foreman. No, it is Foreman, but I don't want the George Foreman for whatever he did in a ring. I want the George Foreman that sat in that infomercial and that talked to all of us about 2 chicken breasts, putting it on there, seasoning it, and closing your grill, and just give this thing about 15 to 20 minutes. The Foreman grill and George Foreman is my number 3 pick.
I just want to wake up to the sound of crackling bacon.
It's a lot of office connectivity in this genius pick today.
Yeah. All right, Cody, your last pick.
That was a great pick, by the way, Alan. I'm going to go with my next pick. This one is dedicated to Travis Rogers, as he is over 300 billion served. I'm going to go with Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's. Suck on that, Slee.
It's a real rivalry brewing
What
between
happened?
Cody
I
and
was gonna
Slee.
say.
My goodness.
I don't even understand what that was.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, is Ray Kroc the genius for giving us the McDonald's that we know and love? Or is it the McDonald brothers who grew up in San Bernardino who had the idea and Ray Kroc stole it from them?
Ray Kroc's a genius because he stole it from them.
Okay, by the way, that's probably the right answer.
Sometimes you got to steal some things.
The McDonald brothers had it, but they didn't know how to go put it out there. And Ray Kroc says, hey, guys, why don't you let me join this up with you? And we'll kind of take it around. And next thing you know, they're like, yeah, you guys can go home. We're good.
And it could be a marketing genius,
got
too.
it the
You
rest
can,
of the way.
you know, maybe the McDonald's brothers couldn't have taken it over the top, but Ray Kroc did.
The Lakers looked, unfortunately, a lot like the Lakers again last night, and that's not necessarily a good thing. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Rotolo Chevrolet, right there in Fontana. You know how well we do out in the Fontana area, Slee. So there's a lot of people driving around right now. They're probably saying, you know what? I've been thinking about a new Silverado, and I'm going to go into Rotolo Chevrolet. That's where it is, right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit, and they've got every Silverado you can imagine. Every make, model, color you want it, they've got it for you. We know what else they've got? They've got great pricing, unbelievable selection. But the customer service at Rotolo Chevrolet, forget about it. You're not finding that anywhere else. That's why they've won Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row. That's why they make sure that every person that comes on the lot, everybody that goes online at Rotolo Chevrolet, R-O-T-O-L-O, RotoloChevy.com, gets treated like the most important person in the world, because that's what you are to them. They want to make sure that you tell everybody you know, hey, I got that truck at Rotolo. You got to go check those guys out. They're unbelievable. And they do it over and over and over again to the tune of 13 years in a row of being Dealer of the Year. That's what Mike Capozio insists on, and that's what they deliver every single day. So if you're looking for a new Chevy car or truck, if you've got your eye on that new Silverado, get on out to Rotolo Chevrolet. 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit, and tell them that Travis sent you.
All right, guys, it's officially back. Fifth Row Fridays presented by BBGO.
That's the official game day snack of the Lakers, by the way. And this is the best thing we give away. Fifth row seats to a Laker game. How many times do people come up to us and say, hey, give me Laker tickets?
Yes.
We don't have them. I don't even have them, but you can win them if you listen every day.
And these seats are better than the seats that you and Michael have, right?
15 rows better.
Yeah.
Michael and I are like row 20. So here's how you win. You listen every day to all the shows and take notes. If you can answer 5 questions about what happened on the show that day, you're eligible to win.
And don't forget, on Fridays, your chance to call in all 5 right answers, and you are in the fifth row at Crypto.com Arena for a Lakers game.
For free!
Four picks.
No, I'm happy with my picks, man.
See,
There's a reason why you're trying to make a trade right now. Trav, we're like late in the game here. It's
He's desperate.
Regular season's about to start.
Ray
I
Kroc
feel like
wasn't
this
a great
is
pick. I regret it.
Well, you picked a guy like a great businessman. He did the thing that many great men do, which is that guy's got something, he doesn't know what it's worth, so I'm going to steal it from him. But his genius was in realizing they had an idea that they weren't capitalizing on, and he went and said, yeah, you know what? I think I can help you guys. Take it, and he did, and it worked out. And they've sold a lot of cheeseburgers along the way. It's been good. Cody, I did not know that you are as a vocal devotee of the Uncrustable.
I can't even have them. I'm allergic.
Oh, that's right.
So you having the cookie butter.
It's the cultural impact.
Explaining that to us yesterday.
So you picked a very bad day to not be in the studio for a couple of different reasons.
Who's in now? What's in now?
Our good friends at Pizza Hut are here again. And it's National Pie Day, right? It is a National Pie Day. So both of the pizzas. Hello, ladies. Good to see you again.
And
Happy
both
Pie Day.
Going right to Trav.
Slee, what we got here is a original crust. We got some onions, mushrooms, pepperoni, sausage, green peppers, that's going to stay right here next to me. And then we got another one, which is just your classic pepperoni, which
there
looks
you go.
And it's got like a bullseye on it. That's a very interesting pepperoni design. You should take more days off, Slee. Not off, but like do the show remotely, because this way I can just I can eat pizza all by my lonesome.
Well, here's the thing. I'm saving up for Friday. I'm saving up as much as I can for Friday. When we do our live broadcast from down there, I have a little bit more space for Friday.
There you go. But today is Pie Day. Thank you so much, ladies. This is fantastic. It is a buy a pizza, get a pizza free. Pie Day BOGO. You buy a large menu-priced pizza, you get a free large one-topping pizza as well. And since we're talking pizza, let me remind you again that Slee and I will be live in the city of Anaheim Madness Friday. That's a week from tomorrow, March 22nd, 10 to 1 at the Pizza Hut Dine-In in Anaheim, 301 South Magnolia Avenue. So come on out, hang out with us, watch the show, eat some pizza. You got a chance to win a 75-inch TV from our friends at Mirror Audio and Television. Nothing but TVs to watch all the games at this Pizza Hut. Sit down, have a great time. Plus, listen carefully, happy hour specials starting at 10 a.m. $1 off of pints of beer, $2 off of pitchers, half-price apps, the $9 Express lunch deal, and more. Pizza Hut in Anaheim, you and me, Slee, next Friday. How about that?
Take advantage of that deal, by the way. So how about that? Buy a large menu-priced pizza, get a free large one-topping pizza. Do that today. I like how they took the pie. We went genius. They're like, well, we're geniuses, too. We'll take our own pie.
You seeing that on the Zoom, Slee?
I see it.
That?
No, I see it.
Can I ask a favor?
Yeah.
Can you talk for like a minute so I can eat a slice of pizza?
Of course I can.
Okay, go.
Of course I can. So I almost kind of want to do play-by-play as you eat the slice of pizza. Can you just
do that?
Give me just kind of a little bit. Travis gets in there. He takes his first
so
bite.
What do you and I always talk about when we get these pizzas?
We talk about a lot of things.
It's hot.
Oh, yeah.
It's hot.
Forget about it. That's
it's still hot. And Pizza Hut is always going to be, but when it's still hot like this, oh, my gosh. Go, I'm sorry. Don't start the clock all over again.
Start the clock all over again. Yep, we'll go. Okay, so let me just so you know, you already ate. You had the croissants in the morning at around 10 a.m., maybe a little bit before that. You're doing the pizza now. Is this just one of those days? Is this just going to be end up one of those days?
Starting to shape up like one.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, you got like a solid hour and a half drive home. That box of pizza, maybe you want to take some home, and maybe Susan wants a slice. Maybe Bobby wants a slice. I don't know if it's going to make it home, but at least you take it with you.
I don't think it makes it home. Like there may be. See, this is one of those days where I may have to be somewhat less than my most honest self. This could be one of those, hey, Dad, your car smells like pizza. What do you mean? Did you get pizza? What?
You're going to have to put the pizza in the bed while you're driving. You're going to have to literally put it all the way in the back.
You've been so good, Travis. You've been doing the walking. You've been eating well and everything.
That's why he's taking care of himself.
You deserve a good day to have all this great food.
So, thank you, A. But B, here's the problem with me. The second I do hey, you've earned this, then I've earned tomorrow and the next day and the week and the month, and then we're right back to where we started. I don't have a great throttle on this.
Is this your equivalent of when you have a drink? A drink?
Yeah, they're cousins. They understand each other. I was at Michael's baseball game yesterday, my son Michael's game, and in between innings, the baseball field at Foothill High School is located right next to the track. So between innings, I do a lap around the track, get my steps in. One of the dads says to me, he goes, "You mind if I ask you a question?" "No, what's up?" "What are you doing?" I'm like, don't worry about it. Just trying to
Get
stay
my
moving.
steps in.
Yeah, but that sounds weird. I don't know. I just said, no, nothing. I just, I'm trying something out. We'll see how it goes. And it's just, all right, whatever. But like, it was every time like, okay, that's the third out of the half inning, and I'd get up and I'd go around again.
Put himself in let's put yourself in his shoes. If you saw him doing that, just kind of randomly getting up in between innings and doing the same thing, would you ask the same question?
Of course.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Of course. I would want to know, wait, why are you gone for 5 minutes at a time? And why are you walking in circles on the track? And why did you even bother to come if you're not going to be watching the game? It was one of those things.
So we did our draft last segment, and here's a great tweet from One More Than Shaq, and he says, "Come on, guys, there's one super genius, and it's Wile E. Coyote."
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I like it.
Was I the only one that was rooting for Wile E. when he was chasing the Roadrunner? Like,
Yeah.
the Roadrunner was kind of a bad guy.
Well, you're kind of like you like the anti-hero, I think. I think you like
I think so.
the not the typical choice of who to root for.
Slee, do you, when we were doing the morning show with Keyshawn and LZ, it's one of my favorite LZ stories of all time, that LZ thought that Roadrunners were the size of ostriches, like 6 feet tall, because of that cartoon. Like, he did not have the sense of scale on what a road. He grew up in Detroit, right? So he's not seen a lot of Roadrunners through the streets of Detroit. And he thought a Roadrunner was the size of an ostrich, which would be the most terrifying creature on earth. Let
me tell you, I didn't even know they existed. I didn't even know they were real animals until this very moment. This
Really?
is shocking
Yeah,
my
I didn't
world.
know that
I
either.
didn't know that they existed.
They're
as
about
real
this
things.
big.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're like a very, very small chicken. They're about that size. Did you ever have an animal that you thought was fake that you
let's
learned
stay
out
with
was real?
Roadrunner. No, number one, definitely had Roadrunners in El Cajon. Not like all the time. I'm waking up and I'm like, hey, there's 7 Roadrunners outside. But we definitely had them. Our middle school, Montgomery Middle School, where I went to, obviously the middle school, were the Roadrunners.
Okay.
So we had a good idea of that. When you say scale or whatever the case is, I think anytime you went, like your first trip to the zoo, your first trip to SeaWorld or something like that, like the first trip as a kid when you went to any of these places and you saw these animals in real life, I'm like, I didn't know a snake can be that large, or I didn't know.
Were you in the anaconda room, Slee?
I don't even know what I was in. I don't even know what I was in. But I think anytime you see these animals for the first time, we all know that a lion is whatever. Go see one at the zoo. You're like, what the heck? Like, it's a lot bigger than you think.
Chuck the Python. Come on, Slee.
Chuck the Python, right?
Okay, I have a trivia question for you guys. So what is, again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I've seen this at trivia, but whatever. What is the only NFL mascot that isn't actually real, that didn't ever exist?
A Seahawk?
That they created something. Hey, Al, what do you think?
That they created something. That sounds, I'll go with Trav on that one.
Cody?
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It is a Seahawk.
Oh, okay.
It's because it's not a real bird. It is
Right.
a created bird out of this. So that's a trivia for everybody listening.
See, I want to make fun of you for not knowing about Roadrunners, but here's why I'm not going to do it. This is one of my favorite stories. I am born and raised in L.A., and when I was about 7 years old, we moved to Phoenix. And then when I was 12 years old, we moved back to Los Angeles, and I have spent my entire life in L.A. or Phoenix, but the vast majority of it in Los Angeles.
That's why you love the Diamondbacks.
That's why I love the Diamondbacks. Exactly right. I played baseball one summer in the Midwest, okay, in a little town called Clarinda, Iowa, which is in the southwest corner. It's about 2 hours away from Omaha, Nebraska. And we had taken a bus ride from Amarillo, Texas to Clarinda, Iowa through the middle of the night because we finished a series in Amarillo and we're going back to Clarinda, Iowa. I had never been there. I'd flown into Amarillo to start my summer league season there, and I traveled back with the team. We were staying with families in these small towns in the Midwest that you would live with for a few months. And I stayed with the Badanskis. And a nice young man by the name of Scott Bodansky met me where the bus stop let us out. And we're walking back to his home. It's about a 15-minute walk. And I got my bag over my shoulder, all my clothes. I got my other baseball bag over my shoulder. And I'm tired. I've been on a bus 12 hours. And it's not quite dawn. It's right before the sun comes up. And it's still pretty dark. And I keep seeing these little flashes of light. Little green neon lights that just keep popping on in all these random places. And I'm like, God, I must be incredibly tired. I'm like hallucinating at these green little lights. And it keeps happening. And again, I've known this kid for 5 minutes at this point. And he's probably 13 and I'm 20. And I said to him, are you seeing those little green flashes? And he goes, yeah. And I said to him, what is that?
Yeah.
And he says, fireflies.
Yeah.
And I said, what? And he says, firefly, lightning bugs. And I'm like, oh, yeah, right. Like Pirates of the Caribbean. And he's like, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, those aren't real. Those are just little lights on the end of strings. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, he thought I was so stupid because I'd never seen a firefly in my entire... He catches one, claps his hands, and they leave that little green streak, right?
Yeah.
The fluorescent stuff that's in fireflies that makes them light up at night, you can smear it on your hands and it makes a mess.
Oh, well, he's the worst for killing it. You don't have to kill it. You can just...
He's a 12-year-old boy, Emily. 12-year-old boy. He's going to squish
it, right, Slick?
Right?
I was a 12-year-old girl and I didn't kill
Well, you're a girl. You're much gentle. You're the gentler sex, the fairer sex. So my mind was blown at 20 years old of the actual existence of fireflies.
Fireflies are the best. I miss them, honestly. They're such tiny little gentle creatures. You can catch them out of the air and then you stay in your hand. They're one of the only bugs that I actually enjoy touching. And then you can put them in a little jar and keep them all summer.
What other animals did you think were fictional that actually exist, and how old were you? Emily's 27, 6, 7, 27? 27 when she found out roadrunners are real 10 minutes ago. I was 20 when fireflies existed. 877-710 ESPN. Our rabbit hole is next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Are you dealing with a dead battery? If you are, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. They offer free battery services like free battery testing and free battery charging. Their free battery testing can help you know if you need a new battery or not, or if you're in need of a fresh charge. And if you happen to need a replacement battery, they can help you with that as well. They're the only place you can find proven tough, Duralast batteries. So the next time that you're having battery trouble, head to AutoZone, your battery solution and America's #1 battery destination.
The black and gold hit the road again.
All right, guys, it's officially back. Fifth Row Fridays presented by BBGO.
That's the official game day snack of the Lakers, by the way. And this is the best thing we give away. Fifth row seats to a Laker game. How many times do people come up to us and say, hey, give me Laker tickets?
Yes.
We don't have them. I don't even have them, but you can win them if you listen every day.
And these seats are better than the seats that you and Michael have, right?
15 rows better.
Yeah.
Michael and I are like row 20. So here's how you win. You listen every day to all the shows and take notes. If you can answer 5 questions about what happened on the show that day, you're eligible to win.
And don't forget, on Fridays, your chance to call in all 5 right answers, and you are in the fifth row at Crypto.com Arena for a Lakers game.
For free!
Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
There is no earthly way of knowing
He's singing.
which direction we are going.
Nothing can possibly go wrong.
All right, guys, it's time for Rabbit Hole. Last Tuesday, or this past Tuesday, I kind of dominated it with our Kate Middleton Rabbit Hole, but I know, again, everyone hop on to the Kate Middleton Rabbit Hole train. We're going to see how it ends up.
It's genuinely fascinating.
Yeah. So
like, where is she, Al? What?
I don't know.
Still don't have an answer.
Yeah,
There's
who
no, I think you sold a lot of us on trying to figure out what's going on, and we don't have an answer.
We'll get to the bottom to it. But, Al, you're going to start us off with a rabbit hole first. So what's your rabbit hole for today?
All right, this one just kind of came up randomly, how most of these do, and then it attracts you. There's a dude that's got a YouTube channel. His name is Remy Metalier. And basically what this guy does is he's going mountain bike riding, and a lot of these are on these trails, and he's starting like up on a mountain and just going down. He's got a GoPro connected to his helmet. When I tell you that these trails that he's on, it's so narrow of wherever the hell he's going. And it's, you got to make a quick right, a quick left. Next thing you know, it's basically rock down to
That's so scary.
It's unbelievable to watch. And I could, I think we all have kind of caught ourselves. Anybody's riding a bike, right? Times where either you fell off your bike or you're like, I think I might be going down. I do that on the sidewalk where it's paved, okay? This dude, I'll send you one of these shorts. It's actually just, it's so crazy. It's
What's
so incredible.
the emotion when you're watching it? Are you anxious?
Nervous.
Yeah.
There's some nervousness. Like I don't, a lot of times he's getting to a point in the trail where it's like if you told me just walk down this trail, forget having two wheels and just depending on a bike here, I wouldn't be able to get down. But videos like this that are a little bit of a rush, and I know that I'm not going to personally do it, sometimes catch me. This dude definitely caught me.
It's crazy.
He's literally riding down a cliff on a bike.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was in a very serious mountain biking phase when I was in the middle of COVID because I had nothing to do. Connecticut has beautiful mini mountains, so I was there, and I also had been going on dates with this guy who was really into mountain biking, and so I adopted it as well. Didn't end up working out with him, but I got this very nice bike, and I really liked it. I actually bought it literally days before the pandemic really hit.
You got lucky because once the pandemic hit, you couldn't find a bike.
Exactly. So I got super into mountain biking / long trail biking. I would do marathon biking days. I would bike 25 miles.
Jeez.
I get really
You get all in.
Yeah. Certain exercises, and I'll go this is where my mind is right now, and I'll do it all day, every day, and then, I never lose weight, and it's awesome. Cody, you're next.
Welcome to my world, Em.
All right, so mine's pretty simple, and I'm actually interested in what your guys' theory, and maybe I have heard it over the air, but this guy, I think his name is Cart Cop or something. It's on TikTok. So basically what he does is he waits at grocery stores, and he waits for people to come out with their carts. And if they misplace it, they don't put it back on the cart rack.
Oh, yeah. Kathy's talked to me about this.
He throws this little magnet onto their cars, and he keeps throwing it onto their car until they put the cart back into its proper place. And it's so funny because the videos, it's always some type of meathead that comes out of his truck, and he's like, hey man, I told you to take that off, and he tries to fight him, and he gets into shoving matches with these people, and it's so funny because it's it obviously isn't that serious, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts. Do you guys put the carts back into the proper place, or do you guys just kind of leave it by a curb or something?
100% of the time, I return the cart to where it belongs.
I was worried about
fail.
You with your stadium activities,
and that's fair. That's fair, but for whatever reason,
you're labeled now.
Yeah, not putting the cart back does not feel like it's even an option to me. Put it back without fail.
Cody, here's what I do. I basically just take my cart, I push it as hard and as fast as I can. Wherever it goes, it goes. I want the cart to be free. I want it to have its own thing. Listen, taking the cart back is obviously an easy thing to do. There also, sometimes you're in a tough position because there are a few carts that start stacking up in one area, but that's not their original cart area. But everybody else now is putting the cart there. So now you got to ask yourself a very difficult question. Am I joining the other people that are putting the cart on this, Trev. You know, they'll like put two of the wheels up on one curb
in the planter. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But there's always a cart placed close. I never understand why it's so difficult for somebody to just walk it to where the cart's
there's always
supposed
a
to go.
giant sign that says "Return carts here." Yeah.
People are selfish beings, and they only think about what is best for them. They'll put it in the middle of a spot. And
Well,
so
that's
now
the worst
spot
part.
is taken up by this cart because I'm not going to stop my car, get out, and do it because I usually drive by myself.
Or they did you a favor. They said, "Hey, here's a parking spot and a cart.
Oh,
get out there, move the cart, then you get the parking spot, and now you got everything."
They're reserving it for you.
I will do this thing though. If I see people walking in and look like they are like a family or they have like they would use a cart, I'm like, "Hey, do you want this one?" Because I feel like that's kind of obviously they can deny it, but almost no one does.
Why do I always get the bad wheel?
Because I think they all have bad wheels.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know. Listen, I was Costco a couple weeks ago. Everybody's cart was quiet. Mine, you could hear me
wobbly
from
wheel.
Oh, yeah.
From the dairy area. You can hear me all the way to the where they're selling the clothes.
Yeah. Also, the thing I monitor myself when people don't put their cart back or when people drive in the shoulder trying to get past everything else, I just mutter to myself, that must be nice. Must be nice to have no regard for anybody else.
No conscience, right?
Yeah, no conscience, no regard for anybody else, just thinking that me. Isn't that nice?
I will give you my rabbit hole very quickly right here because I don't think it reflects particularly well on me, but this is what happened, so I'll tell the truth. I obviously follow a lot of baseball accounts on Instagram and whatnot. There's an account called Bush Leaguer, okay, where all this was a bunch of collisions in the infield. And now
you
all
love
I'm getting
collisions.
I didn't think I did, but now apparently I do. I've changed my mind, and some of these are so terrifying. I'm like, okay, no one should ever play. This is baseball. This isn't even football. Just unbelievable collisions on the infield, and I would not recommend it. But if you want to see it, go to Bush Leaguer on Instagram. It's pretty
You're gonna
crazy.
end up top UFC knockouts and everything. Like you're gonna just start watching all this stuff.
Yeah, but I don't like the punching, but but you're not far off.
All right, so my rabbit hole, it kind of actually started, thank you, Carlo, with International Women's Day last Friday. And it's one of those clips that always goes around whenever it's like International Women's Day or something like that. And it's Billy Eichner on the street for Billy on the Street. I used to love the show, and so I'd watch the show. I'd watch it on Netflix, on YouTube, all that good stuff. But I got into a rabbit hole with it. But the one that gets me on it is he's like, name a woman, and he's to a woman who has a little yoga mat, and he's like, name a woman. She's like, I don't know. He's like, any woman, name a woman. I'll give you $1. And she's like, and then he's like, anyway. And so then people are like, name a woman is a thing that goes around. There's also, there's a couple more that are inappropriate, so I'm not going to say on the air. But he just runs on the street, goes up to these people, and just yells in their face. One that I love is he's talking to these two guys. And he's like, oh, I have some sad news. Seth Rogen passed away. And then they're like, oh, no, that's so sad. And he's like, oh, like, do you like Seth Rogen? Are you a fan? And he's like, oh, yeah, I find him really attractive. And it's like basically telling his boyfriend, it's like, yeah, he's my hall pass. And then it revealed that Seth Rogen has been here the whole time. Anyway, it's super funny. I got into a rabbit hole of Billy on the Street clips, and I love him. Yeah,
he's very, very funny. The Dumps coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, the madness starts on March the 21st, and we are going to be at the Islands in your neighborhood, Ireland.
This is my personal islands in Manhattan Beach, in Manhattan Village. My son, the great Jack Ireland, will be washing dishes and bussing tables, so he can't get you any free food, but if you need a clean dish, he'll be ready.
Excellent. Well, I will be ready for cheddar fries, dredged in that ranch dressing, my favorite thing at Islands. And all the shows are going to be there. Travis and Sliwa, me and Ireland, and Shadano and Cap on March the 21st.
Games start at 9 o'clock in the morning and run all day and all night. Join us at Islands.
Gone to today. Yes, it's time for the dump.
All right, for those of you looking at us on YouTube, which you absolutely should, Slee, you look like you're sitting in like the command center of LAFC. Like I got a very LAFC. It's a black wall with some gold stripes, and you're in a black hoodie. It's a very commanding figure that you're cutting right now.
Now, listen, I know it's because it's coming off. So this is just brown wood. That's all that is.
Okay.
This is black here, right? This is kind of the same thing, kind of a soundproof. And then this is gray.
Not on my TV. Not on my laptop. You're
so
basically.
That's why I was like, let me give you a little more.
You're in an LAFC uniform.
There.
You look great. What number is that on that jersey right there? Was that a 10?
It's for Denny Bawanga.
There you go.
Julian Beer Company.
This is interesting. Peyton Manning is going to join Mike Tirico and Kelly Clarkson to host NBC's Olympic coverage on the opening ceremony, which is coming up here in just a few months. The Summer Olympics are just around the corner in Paris. And according to Peyton Manning, quote, I kind of argued with him as to why he and NBC thought I was worthy. He said they were bringing in Kelly Clarkson to kind of give the perspective of the fan and wanted me to share the perspective of what these athletes are thinking about. Peyton Manning is one of those guys, and Kelly Clarkson is one of those guys, one of these women, that is almost everybody has a positive association with both of them. And if Peyton Manning wanted to be on anything that he wanted to be on, host the Oscars, be on a morning show, be a late night host, like almost anything he wanted, he could do because he's got that unbelievable ability to charm you, to be entertaining, to be funny, and at the same time, not really bother anybody, to not offend in any meaningful way. That's a very narrow-eyed thread.
One of the best personalities in all sports. He really is. And I think the way you described him, I don't think anybody has also a bad feeling or a bad vibe towards Peyton Manning, right? So you might have an athlete, even when I wasn't a Colts fan or I wasn't a Broncos fan, I found myself cheering for Peyton Manning. Of course, as long as he's not playing my team. I think he's one of the few athletes where not only was he successful, you cheered for him, you liked his personalities, you liked his commercials. He's got kind of the whole package when it comes to that.
Yeah, and I think that for him specifically, I think he stays in an area in which he is comfortable, but he's also not exposing himself too much. He's not on social media posting everything every day.
No.
All he does, he kind of goes to these places, one, that'll earn him money, two, that'll be kind of safe, protected places so you don't get too
on
much
brand
info.
for
yeah,
him.
And on brand.
Very, very heartland, very every guy, he's not pitching.
Tends to say pretty sportsy.
Very sporty, but he's not doing Cristal. He does Bud Light, right? He's not doing this, Wolfgang Puck. He does Papa John's. You know what I mean? Like he's very, very strategic on how he brands himself, but it doesn't feel strategic. It doesn't feel Russell Wilson feels like everything went through a team of people to decide, oh, you should wear this color jacket. Peyton Manning just is a guy, but he's thinking his way through it and that he's been able to do that. And he's really funny, and he's got acting chops, and he's pretty smart. It's a pretty good combination.
Like, there's things with, the Jason Kelsey of it all. He does share a lot of his life, and it's still very, what's the word? Not fake. It's very, anyway.
Calculated.
No. He
curated.
No. So on the show, he shares a lot of his life, and it's very honest. It's not like he's trying on to things. It's very real.
Authentic.
Authentic. That's what I'm trying to say.
There we go.
There it is. It's very authentic to who he is. But I also worry that he's getting overexposed. I think when any celebrity gets overexposed, everyone wants to turn. I mean, we see that with LeBron James. A lot of times, he gets overexposed, and people want to turn on him.
You need to act after the overexposure, and that's the hard part.
Okay,
for sure.
I don't know the full story here, but I'm reading it. Landon Dickerson, after going from an $8 million contract to an $84 million one, he says the first thing he's going to do is get a new lawnmower.
Yeah, okay.
Can I get a little backstory on this?
Yeah, let me explain this. So, Landon Dickerson is an Eagles lineman, and so, not a sexy guy, but the Eagles do love their linemen and, get really devoted to them. And so he would ask, so what are you going to do with this money? You have all this stuff kind of like by reporter, kind of jokingly. He's like, well, this is why I have a financial advisor. But he went on to say, like, I don't know, maybe I'll get a new lawnmower. So this is the sound of him talking about that.
How do you wrap your head around that, that level of money, I guess, and, what do you plan on doing with it, I guess?
I mean, I have a financial advisor for a reason. I don't know, I may go get a new lawnmower.
Sure.
Something I've been looking into.
Riding?
Yeah, zero turn.
Yeah, and then he followed up with this video that was posted of this clip of the press conference with the overhead shot of his home, and it's a massive piece of land. I'm assuming somewhere in Philadelphia, and it's just tons of land that you need a good lawnmower for.
Yeah, he's probably not getting the one that used to use in El Cajon. That was kind of one of my chores, where Trav, you just kind of push forward. And
you had a push mower? It didn't even have an engine?
Well, eventually, no, it was a push. It has an engine, but you know how. Eventually, you got kind of the give it a little bit of gas and it goes on its own.
Right.
We didn't have that in the beginning.
Okay.
In the beginning, it was just pure upper body and shoulders. Trav.
I thought you were out there with like a scythe, like cutting it down, like with your hand, with one of those giant hooked knives, just knocking it out like that.
I'd have 6 toes left. I wouldn't know what was going on.
Not only is it National Pie Day, 3/14, but it's also National Potato Chip Day.
Okay.
1 bag of potato chips to eat for the rest of your life. What are you picking?
The Kettle brand potato chips, the sea salt.
Those are good.
Is a good one. Can I give you one that it's not as I don't see it sold in as many places, I guess you call it. You know those Deep River chips?
I don't.
You know what I'm talking about? They're a lot of times they're at like good sandwich spots.
That's the brand, Deep River?
Brand is Deep River.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, they're same Kettle, cooked potato chips, whatever.
Those are good.
Oh, no, they're very good.
You're just a basic man, though. You're just sea salt. You're not going bizarre.
No, I like the sea salt.
I'll tell you what I don't want. I don't want my chips baked. I hate those.
Those aren't potato
baked
chips.
Lay's and all that
Potato
stuff.
chips are fried in oil.
Yeah, exactly. You fry potato chips. That's what I'm looking for. And I would always
Mace,
go. I would always go
you're
Doritos.
A new man. You're a new man.
I'm a big Doritos guy.
You ever got your DoorDash password back?
I did. I don't use it as often as I used to.
It took him 6 weeks.
Yeah, it took me a long
what
time
did
to
I
figure
do?
it out.
It was something you should have got sooner.
It was Chinatown. It had something to do with Chinatown.
Yeah. No, I think it was Chinatown.
Chinatown.
And so I let Mason ask me a question every day as to what it would be and then guess. And I think it took 6 weeks.
Is that your favorite movie?
That is my all-time favorite movie. Yeah.
I thought he would get it in like 2 days.
Yeah, no, it took me a long
6
time.
weeks.
Look how good he looks. It worked.
Yeah, right. I did cut back a little bit. Although I'm up now.
Yeah,
I'm back.
How much you up, Mace? How much are you up?
On April 1st, if he's 195 or higher, I win. If he's 195 or lower, Bergman wins.
Where are you right now?
192.
Oh, you're in 2 weeks?
But drifting the wrong direction.
The trend is in the wrong way.
I actually did it because whenever I bet things, he doesn't like me to win, so this is an incentive for him to stay under 195.
Yes. No,
I don't know if it'll work.
What was your best weight, Mace?
My best weight was 187.
Okay.
Where would you be comfortable if you could just hover at that spot?
185.
Okay.
I haven't quite gotten there yet, but 185 I think feels about right for me. What do you weigh, Ireland?
182 right now.
Right, and you're like
But I like 185. 185 is about right for me. If I'm higher than that, I feel heavy. If I'm lower than that, I feel light. 180 to 185, I'm good.
Trav, what are you?
Right at this moment?
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly what I am. I'm 246 and a half.
246 and a half.
And what's your ideal weight?
Probably 220.
Okay.
And
Probably 220.
What was your
all-time high?
All-time high.
Oh, it had an 8 in it.
Did it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I don't ever remember you being that big.
Yeah.
When we've worked with you?
Probably not here, but I had a 7 in it when I was here.
Yeah.
Wow. I do not remember that.
Yeah.
He had a croissant and a slice of pizza today.
You're already at work, right?
But there are some people whose personalities don't change. I have a neighbor, a friend of mine, female, and she told me the other day, like not the other day, but like a couple years ago, she goes, yeah, I've lost 25 pounds over the last year. And I said, you know what? I feel bad. I never noticed. I never considered you overweight.
I think I obviously am overweight, but I think I'm one of those people you're talking about because I'm down about 20 pounds from 2 months ago.
Right.
From
and
2
it's just
months
you
ago?
look the same no matter what you weigh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Down 20 from 2
maybe
months
18,
ago?
Maybe 18.
That's congratulations, man.
So that's what I mean. Like at 240 and 260, I look roughly the same.
Well, there's how you look and there's how you feel.
Have we played the Super Stager yet?
No, let's do it. A little super crosstalk.
ESPN ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
Okay.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah, 235
Yeah,
was
I
my
never
all-time
remember
high.
Mason being that heavy.
Don't you remember Dave Singer's wedding? I was packed into that tuxedo like a sausage. I was so. That's the first thing everybody said to me when I got to Dave Singer's wedding because I was living in New York and I had terrible eating habits and terrible everything.
And
there.
did you go with the measurements from a tux, like from a
Yeah,
month before?
yeah.
or
And I was,
something?
I was like my personal tux, and I was like packed into.
So did
that
you
thing.
just put it on in a short period of time, or was this a slow, steady build
Slow,
like
steady.
mine?
New York was its own thing. Ordering delivery food.
Well,
all
and
the
in
time,
New York,
and
when you're living in New York, it's cold, and so you're not walking
Exercising
or
and walking
exercising.
around as much.
Now let me get to something here, Emily. You have to, please listen to me. You have
God.
to patent that idea you have.
I tried to tell her, John.
Big dick
I
energy.
tried to
heard
tell
it
her.
too.
I'm telling you. Okay, so here's the story.
See, I'm not the only
There's
one.
a kid that plays for the Toronto Raptors named Grady Dick. He went to Kansas. He's a really good shooter.
Yep.
He was a first-round draft
I
pick
know
of the
who he is.
Raptors last year. If you follow him on social, have you ever followed this guy, Em?
I know who he is, but I don't follow him.
Okay, so if you just Google Grady Dick videos, he's a good-looking kid. He's super quirky. He likes to, what he tells his opponents is he's taking them to Funky Town. So he does a dance to that old song Funky Town at practice, and he's got all his teammates into it, and they're all dancing, and he's shooting threes. Look it up.
Yeah, the merch is already out.
Yeah. No. So
I already see all this merch out there for Big
Deke Energy.
Oh,
It's
Big
already out.
Deke Energy,
So
DEA.
you're late to the
Sorry.
party. It's already
Sorry,
patented. But yeah, so this is Grady Dick does this, and all of his teammates are dancing in sync behind him at Kansas, and he's doing all this goofy stuff. So somebody at Kansas started a T-shirt that said "I heart emoji." Dick for Grady Dick.
Sure.
I heart Dick.
Yeah.
It sold out in a day.
Yeah.
People couldn't keep them off the shelves because it had like the kind of the double entendre meaning.
Sure.
Like what your idea
People
is.
love a good double entendre.
Her sister has a DTF shirt with a picture of an air fryer that says "Down to fry."
Oh, there you
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that, it goes viral and it takes off. So if it's not patented, you should patent it. And
So when she first started telling the story, for people that didn't hear it, the Wake Forest Demon Deacons it's like Wake energy, right? And she's like, they missed an opportunity to have Big Demon Deacons energy on there. Great
Perfect.
idea. When she first said it, the thing that popped into my head right away, I don't know why, but it does was, remember the old Quebec Nordiques?
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
They were called the Deek.
The Deeks.
Right? So
the
the
Deek.
DIQUE was kind of what popped into my head.
Right.
Get the old logo there, Big Deke Energy. If that's not out there, you could go get that too.
All right, so what do they what's the team name of South Carolina?
The Gamecocks.
Okay. Shortened to what?
No.
The Cocks.
Yes.
They call them the Cocks.
Yes.
So somebody came up with a shirt and they sell it in the student store that says you can't lick our blanks.
Okay.
And they can't keep it in the store.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. College kids love crap like that. And so if you could patent Big Deke Energy, that
like,
is
I would walk around
DEAC,
with
right?
DEAC, Big Deke Energy.
Yeah.
I'm wearing that to places. But the I heart Grady Dick, I'm not wearing that one.
No, but Trav,
Yeah.
The only people who know that are the ones who are literally a part of it.
No, go Google it. Last year, the student section, the whole student
That's
section
great.
had those shirts on.
Wow.
And be
They
careful
could- and
what
mostly-
you Google when you Google that.
And basically, it was mostly girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he's a good-looking, kind of fun guy.
What is he's taking him to Funky Town?
Yeah.
That's pretty
Gonna
good.
take you to Funky Town.
That's pretty good.
Did you guys do a draft today?
We did.
What did you draft?
So today is Albert Einstein's birthday.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Right.
So we drafted our favorite geniuses.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Emily took boy genius Jimmy Neutron.
Okay.
Well,
Very
Mason
good.
used to call me Jimmy Neutron.
I know he
We had the
did.
same
I
era.
That's
know.
a Jimmy Neutron
I
look
know he
to
did.
him.
Yeah.
She took Pitbull because she believes him to be a genius.
We're still figuring that
Musical
one out.
genius.
Musical
Still figuring
genius.
that one out.
Lyrical genius.
Lyrical genius.
Every day above ground is a good day.
And Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs you can't go wrong
Okay.
with.
That's her list. I took the namesake of our draft. I took Albert Einstein.
I think
figured-
that's a good call.
I
He was smart.
Yeah, he was all right. He's kind of, when you think of, what are you, some sort of Einstein?
Yeah,
that means
right.
that you're, it's kind of the thing.
He was okay.
Do you guys know who Willis Carrier is?
No.
Willis Carrier invented air conditioning. I feel like
Oh,
that was a
wow.
very
Oh, right.
important
Carrier air
development
conditioning. Yeah.
of human history.
Sure.
And then the Genius Bar at the Apple Store has saved my life, I don't know how many times, because they can fix my equipment rather than me having to
It's a
buy
good
new
call.
stuff.
Genius Bar is a first stop when I'm having trouble.
Slee took Uncrustable sandwiches.
Yep.
Which are,
They are
money.
genius, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
terrific.
Yeah,
They're all
great.
together.
That's great.
I pulled up the Grady Dick video. He has his whole team dancing to Funky Town.
Oh, that's great.
And he does it in his dorm room, and he's climbing up the walls.
Oh, he's
and
super
this is-
athletic.
right. And this is a big bit that launched that shirt.
Yeah.
And now now he's playing up in Toronto, and I mean he's a total goofball.
That's great.
That's great.
Yeah. So that if Emily could patent that, it would be a big money maker.
Telling you.
Some
I
big,
don't even know
deep
do
money.
any of you know the process of going through that? Do you just call the
no? There's
patent
a
office?
website you can go to, and
Yeah,
you can.
I've never patented anything. Have you?
I haven't, but I know people who have, and you got to pay like $100 to.
Yeah, I
Get
think
a
you got
patent.
That way, if all of a sudden
If
tomorrow,
somebody else did it,
Big
then
Deke
you'd have a
Energy
you'd have a
T-shirts are
claim.
everywhere.
What's the difference between a patent and a copyright?
Patent is an invention, I want to say.
And copyright is
like a
It may be
logo.
a copyright you need instead of a patent, right?
Yes,
Maybe.
Yeah,
perhaps.
patent is more like you created something.
Yeah, it's out there.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
out there.
it's somebody.
Sorry,
somebody beat you to it.
You had another good idea during your.
Yeah, what was it? You had a second one.
The second
About
one
Kate
that-
Middleton, that one?
Yes, brilliant.
that she needs
Hot
to
Ones?
resurface on Hot Ones.
On Hot Ones would be crazy. That would be so good.
Masked Singer.
Yeah, Masked Singer. You know the weird thing? Have you ever watched Masked Singer?
I have seen bits and pieces of it. Yeah.
So I flip by it. It's on Sunday nights or whenever it is. And the thing about it is the crowd that is there looks like they are all on Adderall. They are cheering so much, so over the top. It's they look like crazy
Is
people.
it beyond fake?
Oh,
Like it's just
way
so,
past.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I play golf with a guy who is way up at Fox,
Okay.
like top 5 guy at Fox at the whole network, Australian dude.
Okay.
And I said to him one day, I go, explain to me Fox's fascination with this Masked Singer stuff. And he looks at me, he goes, I can't explain it to you, but it's our highest rated show outside of football.
Yep.
The Masked Singer is Fox's highest rated show.
Okay, so this is chicken and egg
outside
stuff
of football.
Because the reason I know Masked Singer is because of football, right? So
Right.
I'm watching a lot of football, and you cannot watch a game on Fox and not be bombarded with
promos.
Masked Singer promos.
Yeah.
And I'm
not stunned
but I
with
feel
the
like I
people
know
they've
the
been able
show.
to get.
They get big names. They get some kind of middling
Large-
stars.
They got,
Oh, yeah.
but they got Dionne Warwick. They got Dwight Howard.
But
Yeah, I
what-
remember that.
I mean,
Wendy Williams.
But
Yeah.
why do I want to watch even like let's use Dwight Howard as an example. Why do I want to watch Dwight Howard sing in a giant bumblebee
The
costume?
thing I
it's
love
not. It's not
Yeah.
that you're interested in him singing. Victor Oladipo almost won it.
But he can sing.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not that. It's that you're trying to figure out who it is.
So let me just point this out. You should watch this for 2 reasons. 1, the crowd is on Adderall. 2, the guesses by, I think it's Ken Jeong and
it's Ken Jeong,
Jenny McCarthy.
Nicole Scherzinger, Jenny McCarthy, and Robin Thicke.
they all start with things like, well, it could be Adele. I'm like, no, it's not Adele.
Adele's not on the Masked Singer.
It
No,
could
but
be
you'd
John
be-
Legend.
you'd be
no, it's not
surprised.
John Legend. These people are not doing the show.
They have
Their
got.
guesses are so over the top.
They have
I think
gotten-
it sounds like Mariah Carey. It's not.
It's definitely Madonna.
It's not.
They've gotten some people that I went, there's no way they got that person. And
Sometimes I'm a little embarrassed for the people. Like
Paul
Anka did it.
You watched
I'm
the
like,
show.
Paul Anka is a big deal.
Yes.
He's got a big furry hat on.
And he wrote My Way. Unless you talk to Pepe.
Pepe was some French guy.
The girl from Glee, if you guys ever watched that show, Mercedes from Glee, did it at one point in time.
All right, so I'm going to read I just Googled most famous people to appear in The Masked Singer. Here we go. Billie Jean King.
Okay.
Kirstie Alley.
Okay.
Sarah Palin.
Yes, very off-brand.
Donny Osmond.
Yeah, very. They're all like
Donny Osmond.
Jewel.
Okay,
Jewel.
Jewel's a real. And Donny Osmond, I guess, is a real
Jewel's
singer
a good
too.
one.
Great performer.
But
Dwight Howard. Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Appeared on The Masked Singer. Patti LaBelle.
Let's use.
You would say
Patti
Can
LaBelle.
we stop for a second on Billie Jean
Come on,
King?
backup singers.
She is a pioneer.
Yes.
She is a tremendous athlete. She is an advocate. She
She's
is
an
all these
owner
things.
of the Dodgers.
I don't know if I need to hear her sing.
Leanne Rimes.
Oh, Leanne Rimes.
Appeared on The Masked Singer.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne.
Okay.
Appeared on The Masked
Is
Singer.
there anybody whose musical career is thriving that is appearing on The Masked
Lil
Singer?
Wayne is still a thing. He's still a
Caitlyn
thing.
Jenner.
Thriving?
Bob Saget, rest in peace.
Bob Saget, yeah.
William Shatner appeared
Okay.
on the
Gladys
Gladys Knight.
The Masked Singer.
You would never think Gladys Knight would appear on The Masked Singer.
Antonio Brown was on it.
Rudy Giuliani appeared on The Masked Singer. Dick Van Dyke.
I think I'm more not watching the show now.
It's all
Didn't
sort of
enjoy it.
people.
Mace, Demi Lovato.
Demi Lovato?
Why would Demi Lovato do that?
This is like Last
Kermit
Chance.
the Frog.
Right. This is Last Chance Saloon of Celebrities, isn't
Right.
it?
This is for Sarah Palin.
Right.
That's for that show is for somebody that we know her name.
Formerly famous.
We know her.
Formerly
We know her
famous,
face. We remember her for a variety of different reasons,
Right.
perhaps. But this is your last bite at the apple before we even forget who you
She
are.
was like the former Beverly Hills housewife from the show
Yes.
that got kicked off because she
Yes.
couldn't get her apple back for
Mel
the next
B,
year.
was she one of the Spice
She was
Girls?
Spice
Spice
Girls,
Girl.
yeah.
Yeah.
She was scary.
Is she the one that was married to? No, it's Ginger.
Wait a minute.
Ginger's married to the F1
Christian Horner,
guy,
yeah.
right?
Mel B is scary, right?
Mel B is the one who had the issue
Is
with
it-
Eddie Murphy, right?
Isn't
I
Mel
think-
B one of the judges on like America's Got Talent
She
or
was.
something
Could
like
be.
that?
Yes.
But I think
Yeah.
Mel B
Like
also
British
happened
Got
to be
Talent.
Scary Spice.
Okay.
I've seen the Spice.
Okay,
Girls.
do you
Travis
guys,
is gonna
do
watch
you
it this
guys
weekend.
remember this? Joe Buck appeared on The Masked Singer.
No, but good for him.
I remember that.
That feels like Fox twisting an arm.
Yeah.
Well,
Doesn't
I mean,
it?
you would have to agree.
Joe,
with it.
yeah, Joe.
Was
Joe,
in
we
his
need you for
contract.
this, and
Yeah.
we'll make it worth your time. Come on down.
People will cheer for you because they're all on Adderall.
David Foster and Catherine McPhee appeared together.
Oh yeah.
Catherine McPhee, I'm going to have to check this out.
Faith Evans.
Yep.
She's a good singer, right?
Nothing
I don't know
more
Faith Evans.
dignified than dressing up like a swan and singing
Mace.
through
Did
a
you
mask.
know this?
The T-Rex.
Johnny Rotten appeared on
Johnny
The
No,
Masked
Rotten.
he
Singer.
did not.
He did.
Wow. Well, he's a legend.
The Sex
Nat-
Pistols are on.
Natasha Benningfield, she had a couple of big
She had
hits.
hits in the
Un-
80s.
Still
unwritten
unwritten.
from the Sidney Sweeney movie.
Yeah.
You know, she's got a new movie.
Sydney Sweeney.
She does.
She plays a priest. It looks. All right,
A nun.
nun. She looks
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
It's called like None of Your Business.
Immaculate.
Oh, Immaculate. I think the alternate title should have been None of Your Business.
Immaculate, none of your business. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Larry
That's
the
catchy.
Cable Guy.
Do you guys remember?
Tyga.
Yeah, Tyga.
You remember the TV show? This is like the early 80s, The Fall Guy with Lee Majors.
Oh, hell yes.
Where he was.
Heather Thomas.
You know they're making a movie with Ryan Gosling as the Fall Guy?
Yeah, it's like
If
I'm
there's
in.
anything.
I'm
no,
in.
it's done. The movie's done.
It's there. It's
It's
out.
coming out this
It's-
month.
Nick
yeah.
Lachey
Nick
appeared on The
Lachey,
Masked
there you
Singer.
go. So there are real people on there.
Yeah.
Good job on Heather Thomas Base.
Yeah.
That's what I remember from
Yeah.
The Fall Guy. That's the most.
That was Ireland's poll. by the
Oh,
way.
and
Yeah.
Marky Post. That was.
Oh,
she
Marky
was also
Post,
in The
there's
Fall
another
Guy.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yes. Trust me. Super Crosstalk is brought to you by
I
Girl
trust
In
from
and
the
Out
Night
Burger.
Court was on The Fall Guy. Okay.
Yes.
I believe him, and look at the look on his face.
Sounds
In
so
and Out.
good.
Bobby Brown appeared on The Masked Singer.
Yeah. See, this
Can't
is.
wait to
this
go
is
back
getting
and watch all
depressing.
these.
Yeah, yeah.
In and Out.